Better turn everybody on. Hey everyone, welcome to Synth Geekery episode 278. And today is Saturday, the 11th of January 2025. We're streaming live from Perth, Western Australia, and it's 9 p.m. here if you're wondering. Synth Geekery is a weekly podcast about synthesizers, sequencers, drum machines, DAWs, and other music technology. And if you don't know what that is, stick around. We might be able to help you out there. Looking a little bit sunburnt today because I've been outside. I'll tell you about that in a sec. We have our regular segments, so we usually try to cover a show topic each week. You probably saw the thumbnail this week that we're not quitting, and we'll tell you about that in a sec. Over the last 5 or 6 years we've been doing the show for, so don't forget you guys can contribute and you can be part of the show. There's a couple of different ways you can do that. You can do that through the super chats. You can do that just by clicking like and subscribe and all those sort of basic things. They're free to do. And we also have the TTS, which I'm going to give you guys a link, which is the Streamlabs TTS, text-to-speech. Just if you don't know why we're using Streamlabs, it's because it... where is my Streamlabs link? There it is. It's because they only take 3% cut, which I think is actually really, really good. YouTube does take 30% cut. So let me just pin that in the chat. So that's for your TTS. I might actually just... let me just do that again. TTS link... post that. What happened there? That's a bit weird. Anyway, we're going to pin that. Okay, so that's the first one. You guys have got that in the chat. If you're not in any other channel other than YouTube, I'll post that in the multi-message thing in a sec. We are streaming on TikTok, and we're also streaming on Twitch and Trovo. So big hello to all you guys that are watching us on that platform. Do the usual stuff like follow us and that sort of stuff. I don't really know what those platforms. I don't really sort of hang around those platforms. So you guys can be the master of those domains and
subscribe
and help me
Yeah, subscribe.
You can be on the show too if you want to. There's a Zoom call that you can jump on and be part of it. That's the link for Zoom. bit.ly/Ranzee Zoom is the link. Now Zoom is free, and I've got one person waiting, which I'll grab as we are talking about that person. And I believe that's Andy Synkotron, so we'll get him in a sec. So there you go. So Andy's already in on Zoom, and there's plenty of room for you guys to join us as well. And how can you help during the week when you're not watching this, if you're not watching this live? You can do anything. Like you can jump onto our Discord server and you can join in the conversation, and we have so much stuff going on during the week on Discord. It's people joining and people contributing, and there's all sorts of stuff going on there, so do check that out. There's also a bunch of memes. There's kind of like, it's like a big long-winded version of this show that kind of just keeps going. It's like a party. Anyway, let's go across to everybody else, and we'll sort of slowly introduce all our guests. We've got one person missing for now. I do believe Chris is coming a little bit later. So what I might do, bit of loyalty here, not loyalty, royalty I should say, is we might actually put we'll put Andy in there. Now Andy, don't worry, I'll fix you in a sec. I'm just gonna get you in for a start, get your audio working. Let's get that happening. All right, and then you're gonna move your chair. Okay, you can move your chair. Actually, that's not a bad spot, Andy. I actually don't mind that. It's kind of like flashing synth corner, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, your audio working, buds? I don't know if I've got you properly. I've got you on here.
Just testing.
Ah, yes, we've got you. Beautiful. All right. We'll come to you in a sec, mate. That's no problem at all. Let's quickly go around the room.
It doesn't start flashing, so.
Let's quickly go around the room, say good day to everyone. We'll start with Daren. Daren, how's your week been?
Good day, cold. Is basically what.
Yeah, you look cold, mate.
Got your woolly on.
I know it's been icy there in your neck of the woods.
Yeah, it's still snow outside. It's about, I think it's got to about 0 now. Now it's been between -9 and -3, I think, for most of the week. So It's just about 0 at this moment in time, but it's going to drop again to about -5. So yeah, it's quite cold. That's my week. Been very cold outside. Not particularly warm in the studio, actually. I mean, I suppose I could switch everything on, but
yep.
That's it. Other than that, it's just been cold.
Oh, okay. Fantastic. So what do you do about that? Like, does icicles form on the keys there, and you have to get the hairdryer out and keep them warm, or what do you do?
That doesn't even press down; it's that frozen. Juno always works because it's very warm. You see, the Juno's very warm, so it's analog.
It's not digital, yeah. That's
Ish.
it, mate. Yeah.
Yeah.
Analog is.
So
ish, yeah. Fantastic. All right, man. Now there was a little sneaky thing I believe that you guys have been working on. How's that been coming along? A little joint development happening. Is that still happening, or
You're
is that
talking
all
to me?
finished? Yes, you.
Oh, right. What are you on about?
You and Chris doing stuff together.
Oh, sorry, yeah. Yeah, sorry, I was miles away then. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's finished. That'll be out tomorrow. That'll be it'll be out tomorrow. Subliminal, it basically is what it is, and it's a little track that should have an earworm in it, so you should all be singing it constantly. So I want everybody to watch it, and everybody to sing with it. And it's a bit sort of ambient, trancey, so Andy Synkotron might like a bit of the sort of ambient, sort of orchestrally bits, but everyone should be singing to it at some point in the track. And if you're not, then why not?
Yeah. Slap him. Get Dave to slap him.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. So we're glad that we reminded Daren about that. His brain was too cold, and
it's too cold. It's not.
Yeah.
I'm only on a Pentium 3 now. I'm not up to the
We can send you a TRS-80 if you want. Like, if you can go backwards in time. Yeah, green screen.
Any further back, my brain will stop. Let's face it.
All right, mate. Awesome. Okay, who else have we got here? We've got Andy, who's over the other side of the world. How are you, mate? How's your week been?
Hey, speaking of cold, it's unusually cold here in California, at least this part of California. Earlier this week it was in the 40s, like 40, 42 degrees, 44 degrees Fahrenheit. And then last night it was probably like 55 degrees. So it's staying relatively cold lately. It's winter, you expect it, but we're getting more cold and less rain. So when I was a kid, it'd be pouring rain about now, and probably a little less cold. But it's definitely some change going in the works. Wasn't here part of the week. Was in Big Sur for a little while, having some fun down there. I did a little teaser video, like a quick live stream, but Big Sur has no cellular coverage pretty much at all. So like they can't do Uber, Lyft, any of that stuff down there. Everything's either Wi-Fi based at home or in a business or whatever. So streaming, forget about it. You can't do any streaming down there. So I had shoot some local videos I'll put up later. And then I did last week's Hardware Jam was Tolkien Day, so I got that up there. That was fun, just making a little so orchestral Tolkien-y kind of thing for fun. What else did I do? Oh, I picked up one of these because I haven't gotten anything in a while, and it was used, so I said, what the hell? Get one of these little Rolkas.
Yeah.
So
they're cool, aren't they?
Yeah, because I have the whole series. I have VT1, VT3, VT4, and now I have the little guy. So so it's good stuff, but nothing new here. It's just portable, but I think that's about it. Yeah.
Awesome. All right.
More videos to come up, so check it later.
Perfect. We're going to head over to Ian. Hey, how's your week? Jeez,
it's cold.
Look at all you cold people.
No, it's not really. It's actually, the studio's pretty good, actually. Good day, good afternoon, good evening, good morning. It is cold, though. I mean, England, you said Yorkshire. It's grim up north, I know that. It's not quite as cold down here in the southwest, but we've not hit above 0 all week. Still been going out for my walks every day, which has been good. There's a very muddy walk that I've been enjoying, or And I thought, oh, well, when it was really, really icy, I thought it'd be great because I'll just, I won't get muddy, really. It was like a lake halfway down this track. So it was, although it's really cold, it wasn't turning it into ice rinks. What I've been doing this week. So I'm working on, we're putting out an album called An Endless Sky, which is they originally started as podcasts, but they're short stories. So there's 5 of them. It'll be like a double album. And I'm just finishing off editing that, and then I've got to master it, which will probably be next week. So we hope to get that out next month, towards the back end of next month. I've been listening to the stuff that Daren sent me, and I've put it into a slightly different organisation, if that's all right, Daren. You can completely ignore
Ian,
what
I was gonna. I've been listening to over. I've been listening to them over and over for the last week, and I was thinking. I think Ian might put it into more of a story order. Yeah, I thought that because I was listening to it and I thought maybe track 1 is more sort of middle. I think you might have gone with.
What I've done. That's exactly what I've done.
Maybe I thought you might have gone with either track 2 or 3 first, and number 1 sort of in the middle.
I'd have to bring it up actually, but I was gonna. We need to probably have a conversation, probably have a phone call or something like that, and we'll talk through it. I did like the bit at the beginning with all the birds though. So whether you're going to re-edit, put that back at the beginning. But anyway, we'll talk about it. What else have I been doing? That's pretty much it. I've been messing around a bit with the Ambient Zero, which takes a while to get my head round. It's all that menu diving business, which I'm not hugely fond of, but the thing sounds great. I'm hoping to use it at this gig on the 1st of February. And just on a side note, it doesn't help for our colleagues abroad, but Electronic Sound Magazine has got a thing, this arrived this morning, Grassroots Electronica 2025, Your Music Needs You. So it's quite it's in depth to a point. It doesn't cover things like EMOMs as much as I would have liked. I didn't know it was happening because I met the guy the editor, he apparently lives in Peru. I met him before Christmas and he was telling me he was doing this. So I'm glad it's come out. But if you have the subscription, you get a double CD of electronica, which I'm looking forward to listening to. But pretty much that's it, really. So nothing. I mean, I've been a bachelor this week. Jane's down at her dad's, and we'll be for a few more days looking after him. So it's been party every night, really.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
Jelly wrestling parties, or is it?
Yeah, Wagyu. I invited Wagyu, but he didn't want to come. Can you believe that?
Wow.
Now, before we go to Andy, I just want to make a couple of little sort of announcements. So, first one is Twitch. If you guys have been following me on Twitch, I've changed the channel name because I felt it was Ranzee before with 3 E's, and it was a bit like some people were getting the other one. I don't even know who has got the Ranzee with 2 E's channel on Twitch, and I can't be bothered trying to snap it off him. He's never created any content, so I've just decided to change the name of the channel to Synth Geekery, and I think that works much better. So it's Twitch, Synth Geekery. It's easy. So if you guys are Twitch users and you're lost and you can't find me anymore, and you've gone back to YouTube and you're thinking, God, I'm on this horrible, miserable platform called YouTube, you can head back to Twitch. It's still there. It's just changed the name, and I just feel like it's a bit easier for people to remember. So, by the way, all of those links have been updated on the bottom of all the YouTube videos. Also, it's on my website. So everything, if you ever forget it, you can always just head onto my website, ranzee.com, and you'll find it there.
Ranzee, quick logistics thing with the Twitch. I noticed when I try to save stuff on Twitch through StreamYard, it doesn't stick.
Oh, Twitch doesn't save. Are you
getting yours to stay?
No, Twitch doesn't save.
Well, it can. There's an option to do it, but it doesn't work. So
yeah, it doesn't. So the point is, if you want your streams to stick on Twitch, you've got to do
do it from Twitch, right?
do little sort of other methods, but I don't use Twitch itself to stream, and I don't use StreamYard. I use Streamlabs to stream on Twitch, and Streamlabs is actually it's like a fork of OBS Studio, and it's got a whole bunch of really, really cool features. But anyway, we won't get into that. So multi-streaming is one of the benefits that it's got, and it's I'm streaming on TikTok right now. So yeah. Anyway, okay. So let's get stuck into the show. We'll go across to say good day to Andy as I promised, because he's done such an amazing job and joined us on Zoom. How are you, mate?
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or whatever it is. It's evening over there, isn't it, Ranzee?
Yeah, good.
It's 9:18 p.m. over here, buddy.
Yeah, we're kind of afternoon here. I've stuffed my face with food, so nothing to report at my end. If you can ask me what I'm doing, I'm just going from one live stream to another, really. I had one today, which was interesting because I got a message from in my chat that there was a guy on Jamtabba who was asking me if I would join the Jamtabba server. So the first hour of my live stream we're doing the old Jamtabba thing, which is it's just so cool.
It's awesome, isn't it?
Yeah, but I'm just going from like one live stream to another. I use my live streams to kind of build up content to sort of stick on Bandcamp. So I did record last weekend. I recorded 3 20-minute takes, and I chose one of those, and I've got one of those ready then to go onto an album on Bandcamp when I get another 2 or 3 to go with it. So, but other than that, I'm just like hopping from one live stream to another, and then trying to keep up with all the other live streams as well in between times. So
that's actually a good idea. Really. I like that, Andy, because in a way, if people are fans of yours, and I'm definitely one of your fans, they get to experience something that you do live, right? And then that particular thing that they were experiencing live may end up being something that you put on an album. And I think that's kind of a special thing. That's a connection between you and the people that follow you. And in another way too is it might also entice people to come and watch you live too, because they know that you're publishing some of the stuff that you do.
And it's quite a new thing. I mean, I've only been doing this for about 12 to 18 months now, where I actually create an album from live material. I mean, I normally just contrive stuff, in Reaper and layer stuff and move stuff around and clip stuff and all just the usual sort of thing. And but the last 12 months or so, I've focused on just doing something live. So when I mix something after the fact, then it's only mixing audio and probably applying a little bit of EQ. I don't do any overdubs or anything. It's just so it's exactly as you hear it on the live stream, apart from hopefully slightly better quality.
That's awesome, man. It's awesome. Really, really cool. Stick around if you can.
Yes. Yeah. For as long as I can. Yeah.
We'll keep you in that spot for now, anyway. And
until Chris arrives. Yeah. Then
until Chris arrives. Well, we won't kick you out. We will just move you to the next spot to the right, and we'll keep the Chatties out. Speaking of Chatties, we should probably say good day to the Chatties, because they're there and they're being nice and everything. Well, nice to me anyway. Big shout out to all the channel members that are in there. You guys can see them with their little Synth Geekery icons next to their names, like Kosh Dukai, for example. And who else did I see that was there that we haven't already said good day to? There's a few. But yeah, I've noticed. Let's roll this little stinger and just kind of give us a little memory of all the thank yous that I need to do to all the channel members. And I did read it out last week, and it was kind of entertaining. I'm going to do that again. So a big thank you to all the channel members, and I think that list will probably shrink once those people who got gifted the channel membership may not decide to stay on. I'm hoping they stay on, though. Also, big hello to the Patreons too. One of the things you guys will notice if you are a channel member, and that is that there was a video that was put up during, was it last week? I think it was last week, wasn't it, Ian? Well, who's a channel member here? Who can tell me about what that video was about?
I saw it. It was beginning of this week, Rant. It was about the bush. You wandering around the bush. I thought it was brilliant. I loved it, actually. It was really. It was. I mean, it made me want to come to Australia, which I will do at some point. But no, I thought it was great. It was a really good little video, actually. So well done.
Yeah, it's a bit of different stuff, and it was really. I mean, I talked about synths in it, but it was just me. It was third person, kind of walking around with the camera. So if you are a channel member, you can actually check it out, and that's something you can check out. But Patreons will get that in the next few days, and they'll get the ad-free. So the benefit of the Patreons is they get the ad-free version, and yeah. So I'm starting to put up a little bit of backlog. What do you call it? Back catalog, I think is probably the better term. Back catalog content. So when we do stuff on the stream, over the last 2 years or whatever, there's been live performances that I've done and some other things that we've done on the show, and you've only got 1,000 people, whatever, who viewed the show. So because there's a lot more people that don't always watch the show live, I've gone back and I've taken little snippet content out of the shows, and I'm starting to publish it. Like, for example, middle of last year, we did the Gate 16 remix, and so that's now up on the channel. And it's just another take on the Gate 16 track. And I actually did that live in front of everyone, so it was kind of like impromptu. I was using the pre-recorded stuff, but it was still live. I was still remixing it live. Like you're saying, Andy, kind of, it's a different feeling when you're doing it live versus when you're doing it as an edited situation, and it does kind of, it renders differently and has a different vibe about it. So definitely do more of that, that's for sure. Right. Well,
you did a video of some quokkas.
I did do some videos of some quokkas when I was in Rottnest in December. So I don't know how I'm gonna. I'll use it in some way. There's not really sort of like anything substantial, longer videos or anything. But yeah, we'll use it some way. Some still photos and stuff. Right, let's get stuck into the show because we have our regular segments and there's a lot of stuff to get through today. So let's sit back and snap our knuckles and crack our knuckles to start with some funny memes. Now this one was sent in by JX3D, and some people in the audiophile circles insist on through-hole as it sounds better. I love it. If you haven't worked it out, please just send me a message and I'm happy to explain it to you. I know some people just, they get upset, they don't understand some things, it's fine, because not everyone is into electronics, and that's cool. Who are we missing here? We are missing, not that one, that one. There we go, that's better. Right, let's keep going. Next one, this one was sent in by, it's a bit hard to see, but it's by the Intergalactic Federation, which you guys know as Dazza. He's been on the show for many, many years. He's a good supporter of us. Big shout out to you, mate. I know you watch us on the replay because it's a bit late for him to watch us live when it's about 3 hours time difference. It's about after midnight at the moment over there in his neck of the woods. Anyway, this is like basically someone selling something on eBay, and it's a piss take on bad photoshopping and stuff. I think it was clever. Anyway, so there's that one. This one also was a meme that was created by Florian during the week, and I thought it was clever. And the bad gear guy. If you guys don't know who he is, you should check his channel out. He's copping a bit of flack lately, the poor guy. We'll talk about this sort of stuff in a minute too, actually. I think
I like the SH32. I have one of those.
I never really understood the top one, though, to be fair. I get it. Some people digged it. I just didn't really understand it. I didn't really understand its purpose. So I'm probably with you, Andy. I probably prefer the bottom one.
It's nice.
Yeah. It's basically a Gaia, right? It's basically a Roland Gaia to a degree.
Yeah, I think it sounds better than the Gaia, but it's
that era.
It's weird. It's like a groovebox synthy thing. It's kind of odd.
Yeah, which is what we like. We like odd, weird things. Now the next one is what the show topic's about. Yes, and this meme came across on the Facebook group Synth Meme, so big shout out to Jim and all the other guys who run that group. It's a great group. But if you guys haven't noticed, that the topic today is I'm not quitting, but everyone else is though. And also a big shout out to Scotty, who's been copping it tough. And Scotty's one of our...
Don't quit, Scott.
Scotty's one of our mates, so
Oh, I did see the link about this. I didn't watch the video though. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So where are we at? We're at the end of the memes now, aren't we? Yeah, there we go. So why don't we hit this button and we can vote on our favourite meme, and we can talk a little bit about that last one in a sec before we go on to the news, if you like. Vote for your favourite meme. Was it JX3D's Throughhole? Was it Daz's Photoshopped? I've got a Jupiter 8. It's in really good nick. Put it on eBay. Was it Florian's Bad Gear, where both gear's bad? It's like a recursive meme, that one. Or was it poor Scotty copping the flack from everyone?
I like the Throughhole one. That was funny.
Yeah, I think Henrik gets it for me. Yeah,
Throughhole.
Yeah, I like that one. Good on you, Henrik. You got it for this week. You can walk around with a big smile on your face. All right, let's talk about I'm quitting. Hey, I mean, don't quit. Why are you guys quitting? Why stop having tantrums on? There's plenty of people out there on the internet that will make your life a misery, and they love it and they know it, and that's what feeds their evilness. So just don't feed the trolls, and you don't need to quit.
No, I don't think Scott should quit. I mean, and I will also say that I don't think. I mean, it shouldn't be happening that he's being trolled to such an extent. But all of us who put ourselves out there on the internet, we do get trolled. I have in the past on certain videos been trolled.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we've all been trolled, mate.
I love giving it back though. That's the fun part.
Well, there was a particular. It wasn't a synth video, but it was a guitar video that I put out in the beginning of the pandemic, actually, and it was getting something like 30, 40 comments a day at its height. And now at that point, I was replying to everyone, and some of those, I was being sort of ironic and sort of, and then I came to the point and thought, well, actually, the best thing to do in future is just not to react. So if somebody posts a negative comment on my channel, provided it's not swearing, swearing when people swearing comments, I remove them. But apart from that, they'll stay up there, but they get completely ignored. And now
a lot of stuff gets auto filtered though. YouTube actually hides stuff sometimes when it's too much.
They do sometimes. I keep forgetting to go in and look.
Yeah.
yeah. So I mean,
I don't think you could. Can you look? Are they gone for good or can you?
Yeah. There's a thing where you can go and actually.
Oh yeah.
They put comments.
I never tried.
I mean, I'm thick-skinned. I've been. I mean, good example is when I was a lecturer. We'd have 200 reviews on a session, and 99% of those would be, "Oh, Ian's a great lecturer. I really enjoyed his session." Then there'll be that one comment that said, "Oh, I didn't like the way Ian walked around the room," and so these people are out there.
Yeah, well, I have to say, like I say,
just ignore them.
Quite often I say you only need 50% of the vote and you become the president or the prime minister. You know what I mean? You don't need. Not everyone needs to like you.
No.
With Scott, one of the things that troubled me, I guess, was he mentioned that people went a bit too far. Like they actually tracked down his mobile or his cell phone number and sent him messages that way. I mean, that's just not on, guys.
Yeah, that's weird. That's weird. Yeah.
That's
like,
really
don't
strange.
do that. Don't do that stuff.
Yeah.
Like, seriously.
Was it mostly about his content? Was it mostly about his tech content or his music content or something he said, or what was it?
It was about the teenage. It's all about the teenage engineering video that Florian did. By the way, that video has never not been up since he had to take it down. But he did a video. Florian did a video, Bad Gear Guy, and then
Heard about it. No.
he had to take it down because of copyright claim against the content in it. Now, to cut a long story short, the copyright claim was for something else, but in between that, so in the timeline of this, Scotty kind of jumped onto it and thought, I saw the video. He was just showing the samples on there. Maybe they've made a copyright on the samples, and then he went in and had a look at the terms and conditions that they'd set and got himself kind of all twisted up around all the legal stuff, and that's kind of where he became embroiled with that topic. And then we found out subsequently that Florian actually put content that was actually an exact copy of a YouTube video that Teenage Engineering had used, and that was what the copyright claim was for.
Right.
So that's why he had to take the video down. So it wasn't over the content of the sample player, it was over the video that they used. And in which case, so you guys have heard me say this before, if you're a manufacturer and you want us to share the stuff that you are talking about, your products, and you want us to share the media, the imagery and things like that, do not make it so those videos are retrieving copyright strikes or claims. You should make it so that they're freely available for us to share and replay and I can put it on my live stream, for example, and show you guys, hey, this is a product, this is their new product, this is the video they've released. I should never ever get any copyright claims, and I've had copyright claims from manufacturers before, and it's ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. So Florian should never have got one because he was he was doing fair use, I feel.
Yes, he was.
But then the stuff that Scott had found out was actually quite troubling, and that's kind of, so he went and re-edited his video and made it so it was just about the stuff really that he'd found out, the legal stuff, and I guess that's kind of where it's getting weird as well. And that is, like, if you buy a sample player and it's loaded with samples, you should, by partisan, have the right to use those, right? But this is where it gets kind of grey, because say Daren releases an album and he uses a let's make up a brand, Acme sampler, right? And he uses the first sample on the first button, which happens to be a parrot squawking, and then I put an album out and I use the Acme sampler and I use the first button, which is the parrot squawking. All of a sudden now we're creating this conundrum of sounds being used by lots of people. But when you actually start, when you start discovering that, you actually realise. When you start discovering that, you actually realise that pianos sound the same and violins sound the same, and like where are we going to get to the point?
I've actually had this happen to me.
Yeah.
So I was on the trip, one of my trips to Edinburgh. I took my little Korg K oscillator, and I'm sat on the train, and I made a track on the way up, did another track on the way down, and then put those tracks out. Okay, and I'll put them out on YouTube. This is only a few years ago, and then got an instant copyright claim by somebody else. And when I actually listened to their track, it sounded nothing like my track. And now I was fairly naive at that point, because I'll be honest with you, whenever I get a copyright claim, I contest it now, because I don't use other people's material, so I will contest it. And in most cases, with the exception of one, I've won all those claims. It's a pain to do that, but you know, I mean, it was just an original track. Jane was sat at the side of me. I said, you know that track I made on the way up to Edinburgh? Yeah. She went, I said, some buggers copyright claimed it. You know, so, you know, don't let this stuff happen. You know, contest it. You know, and all the threat of, oh, we're going to close your channel down and all that sort of stuff. That's you know, that's just YouTube for you. You know,
well, that's why we did the February filter sweep 2 years in a row, because the algorithm stinks, right? It still stinks.
Yeah,
yeah,
it does. Yeah, yeah,
yeah. It still hasn't been fixed. Yeah, we started that. Yeah, it was crazy because I mean, I was just demonstrating a Behringer eurorack module. I got a copyright claim. It was crazy.
I still have my Kid Rock claim, which has nothing to do with the Kid Rock song, but I think it's hilarious.
Yeah.
It is hilarious. Yeah. It is hilarious. Anyway, we've kind of gone off a little bit on a tangent here. It's not really so much about copyright claims, this topic. This is more about guys getting hammered by internet trolls, I guess. And I know Scotty, and I really don't want to see that sort of stuff happen. He's a good guy. You know, he makes really good content. Like, his channel is actually quite popular. He's got about 26,000 subscribers on there. He does a great job. I just don't like to see people get kind of pushed away. And I know a little bit more about him, and I'm not going to sort of mention things, but we're human beings, right? We're fallible. We do have, some of us have things that we, you know, are carrying burdens in our lives and stuff like that, and you just don't know when you push someone how close they are to sort of breaking. You don't know what's going on in their life, and I kind of feel like it's not the person's fault who pushed, but you just got to be careful. You know, you got to be careful out there how you treat people, because I actually believe what comes around goes. I do believe in a bit of karma going out there, right? And I think you know, you should always, the old-fashioned one, you should always treat people the way you want other people to treat you. That's how you should be on the internet, and that's how you should be in real life. So for those people who are going out there and they're trolling people and stuff like that, you know, you shouldn't do it. It shouldn't do it. It's not.
It's like I have two science channels. I have two science channels on YouTube. I make mistakes sometimes, and I have to go correct myself.
Everybody does.
Yeah, but I mean, that's where the people really screw. Oh, you fucked that up, and it's like, well, no, I just made a mistake, and here's what I did. Oops, I'm sorry. But it is important to correct that stuff. You don't want the wrong information out there. So,
I mean, certainly you can tell the trolls channel because there'll be no content on it. There'll be absolutely. And I've checked sometimes when there's never any content, and it's worth saying that
and 2 subscribers.
You know, women get more trolling than men generally on social media, right across the board. Whether it be YouTube or
they do.
They
get nasty.
And you know, this. I mean, I don't know how we fix this, but it's got to stop. You know, people. You know, there's a woman in here in the UK called Caroline.
You're not going to fix it, Ian. You're not going to fix it.
No, you're probably right.
But what you are going to do is you're going to empower the individuals who have fallen. So, Scotty, we've got you, mate. We're behind you. And anyone else who's in that situation, you know, just let us know, because you know we are your true friends on the internet. That's what you know. They're the people that you should be listening to, not some random YouTuber that's got one subscriber.
Certainly, my feeling of being in the synth community for a few years now, we are better than most other communities that are out there. Having flirted with the guitar community from time to time, it can be vicious, and I've seen that. You know, but I mean, generally, you know, very rarely do we have issues like this. I think. In
I don't think we have a lot.
You know, I mean, and those people that are trolling him, they're not synth fans. They're not, you know, they're not people that we should be interacting with. You know,
the thing is, we're not going to get through to those people, right? So we can just forget about them, I guess, in a way. But
ignore them. Yeah, life's too short.
All we're sort of saying is that for anyone who feels like they've been just hard done by, like if they feel like, you know, hey, look, like Andy just said before, like I made a mistake, you know, I've corrected it, so what more do you want me to do? I've apologized, whatever, you know. Some people are in that situation, and they have to they have to go through that, and it's painful. Them just doing that, it's painful.
Yeah.
They know that they're going to get a bit of flack, but what happens next is that whole sort of throwing mud stick type scenario, right? And that's, I'll get around anyone. And the thing is, like, did I agree with what Scotty said? To a degree. There were some things that he said that I probably wouldn't. I've said myself. If I was giving him advice, I probably, Scotty, you probably shouldn't have said that. But that's fine. Like he has his personalities like that. So we all kind of. I mean, I've said things on the show. I mean, 6 years of content. Go and have a listen. You'll find some.
Well, you pissed that French guy off, right? Remember that? So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I called him a D.H, so doesn't usually go down.
I mean,
too
you were
well.
right, but
doesn't go down too well. Hey, look, the worst thing that happened is he took one of our shows down. We're still here, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, I want everyone to know, like, if you ever, like, I get trolls, right? I feel down sometimes as well. If you guys ever feel that you're sort of in a corner and you feel like quitting, and really the word quitting is kind of finite, isn't it? It's like it's like a very a big thing, like it's like almost like there's no return. And you hear a lot of people say they're going to quit and they actually end up coming back, and that's fine. You can have your little rage quit and come back in a couple of weeks.
Well,
and,
I am actually going to be quitting.
Yeah.
If you quit, I'm quitting too.
Right.
Rave Davis taking over. Yeah.
But I'm not saying when I'm going to be quitting, but at some point I will be quitting.
Oh yeah.
What do you mean? You quitting
Probably.
park benches or something, Daren?
Well, I'll just be quitting. I might not be around anymore at some point.
Yeah.
We all have an
It's the minute
expiry
you end up
date.
in the box.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the thing is that do this stuff because you love doing it. Do it because you've got friends. That the general sort of camaraderie that you get with that, they're still going to be there even if you made a mistake. Do that. That they'll forgive you. People are forgiving. Most of us don't give a rat's either. Like we honestly could not. We're not sort of holding onto stuff. We goldfish memory. Yeah. On to the next. Right. So yeah. Andy, you don't know who Scott is. What's his channel name? Well, he was in the meme. The photo of him.
Scott just Synth.
Scott Synth stuff.
Scott just Synth.
Scott Synth stuff.
Yeah.
But it's the same as putting music out. You got to have a thicker skin. I hate to say it because people will always be haters, and I would never put stuff out there if I was too sensitive about it. I mean, you just put it out there, and hey, sorry, you
Are
don't
you
like
running
it,
ads, Rant?
F off, right? So.
Oh, did I forgot to turn? Oh, you know what? I probably forgot to turn monetization off. Sorry.
All right. It's all right because I've just got an ad running in the middle of that. Then
Let me just. I've just turned it off.
That's why you need premium, Daren. You have to see the ads at all.
Hang on. How do I turn it off? Shit. Delay.
It doesn't matter because I'm actually on the show. I was just watching it back on my iPad and I thought, wait, it's an add-on.
I don't know if I can actually turn it off. That's a new thing.
I mean,
you used to be able to turn it off.
Taking a break from
Just so you know, that was all.
doing stuff on the internet is not a bad idea at times for your mental health. If you're feeling a bit, like you just need a break from it. Definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, it's off now. It's off. Yeah, I probably just forgot to untick it because when you do the live,
you've probably just lost 1 penny there. No, not even
well,
that. 0, 0, 0.
James says you've just tried to sell him vegan butter.
I can't stand the monetization stuff. You guys know that, so I've just forgotten. I do apologize. It's not something I don't need monetization on this channel. That's not how we roll. Anyway, I've turned it off, so hopefully we don't see any more. But thanks, Daren. All right, shall we get into the news segment? I think we should do.
Yeah.
We should go into news. Hooray! Vegan butter, hey, James?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Insurance for me.
Insurance?
Vegan
yeah.
butter's just trans fats is what it is.
They might be saying something there. Andy, you're not there. Who's missing here?
2 Andys are missing.
2 Andys are missing, yeah.
I'm always missing.
Yeah.
But you're a modular guy here, Andy. You need to be on this one.
Yeah. You
There we
do.
go.
You take
In
my
fact, the
place, Andy.
All right, fixed.
Both
I've
Andys
used
need to be
my
on this
module
one.
for about 4 months. So
All fixed, people.
Oh, Andy.
Right, let's talk about this thing. This is Tre Modular, and this is a product called Steps. Actually, it's a pity Chris isn't here, because I actually really wanted to show him this. Why am I watching TikTok? Please go away. Right, let's get the vids up. Here we go. We'll go to the first one. And we'll pause it. Am I logged in? I am. Good. Full screen. Okay, let's get the video going onto there, and let's have a quick look at this.
Hi everyone. Today I want to show you Steps by Tre Modular.
that
At
loud
its
enough?
core, Steps is an 8-step clock sequencer. It takes an incoming signal and divides it into 8 individual steps.
Max vol.
Each step can be individually activated or deactivated, allowing you to create a wide range of rhythmic patterns. But the magic happens with the burst mode. You can multiply each step by up to 8 times, creating complex rhythmic variations. Since Steps uses PLL or phase lock loop circuit for burst mode, it takes some time to lock on to the clock signal. If you want to introduce some randomness in your patch, you can feed it an irregular clock signal or actively use burst multiplier slide switch, and it will introduce a degree of unpredictability to your rhythms.
Alright, so just a quick one before we keep watching. We may not actually. So this is just a real basic module by Tre Modular. I actually like it because it's linear in its design, so vertically linear, that is. It has an 8-step clock sequence, as you worked out, and it's a processor that transforms incoming clock signals into a series of rhythmic patterns, which you probably saw. What I like about it, though, is you've got those little mute buttons, so you can actually mute the steps by clicking on those. You've also got a feature where, as you showed, where you can actually do a burst, and there's like a slide switch. So burst, I don't know, guys. Would you kind of say that's like a ratchet? It kind of felt like a ratchet to me, right?
it's a clever ratchet thing. Yeah.
Yeah, but he is using this thing called a PLL or phase lock loop circuit, which does actually open this thing up to a second use, which is not a sequencer. You can actually set this up as a sound processor, and you can get things like portamento effects with it. So because it seems to be quite a quick processing step sequencer in that sense, so that may be interesting. It also might be interesting using it with some percussive sounds and putting those through low pass gates. I can definitely see some really cool things with this anyway. This is $140 US, and what was the other thing that I wanted to tell you about it? It is 10 HP, and I think you can get it now. So that's the Tre Modular Steps. Anyone want to comment about that? It's a sequencer.
It's a gate sequencer.
Yeah,
Just a gate sequence, yeah.
just a gate sequencer. Doesn't make sounds. Yeah.
Yeah, I could make use of that.
I bet you could, Andy. Yeah, it's sort of.
Whoops, Andy. Let me just pop you up in the corner. Sorry, mate. That was the next video being queued, and it decided to play.
It's got that slight hint of Metropolis with the gating system.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah. The 1.8. Well, actually, technically, it's the 1.85.
Yeah.
Down.
Well, yeah. Yeah, exactly. If you go right back, it's where you can. Yeah, so it's got the hint of that in it. But set in a vertical, it's quite interesting. Like I say, I mean, Andy, who should be on his modular more often, not 4 months at a time.
Yeah.
Other end, yeah.
It's great for Berlin school ratcheting though, so it's it's perfect for that.
It is, but it kind of gave me the impression that it didn't do the expected sort of typical clock, round robin loop. It kind of I don't know if you watched the video, but it seemed to have sort of bursts and then it catches up and then it bursts and then it catches up. It was kind of like it was still rhythmic.
It reminds me a little bit of the Qubit Pulsar, the original, where it was like you could alter it so it was like a gravity, so it was like dropped down and then sped up. So it's a bit similar to that.
So he wasn't making it do that variation. It's because of the nature of the circuit. It's doing that catch up thing.
Yeah, because it's using that phase lock loop circuitry.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Which is
It's one of
different.
those
the way he had
modules.
said it, but yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those modules where you just got to buy it, stick it in your rack, and play with it and see what it can do for you. Because it'll be a different module for everyone that buys it. So.
Yep.
Because like HydroSynth has the great ratcheting knobs right there, so you can go like play real time with that and get really dynamic. But you're constantly like playing with it, and
This one's more a set it and let it do it sort of thing. Yeah. The only thing that I reckon is missing on this is some sort of CV control on some of those extra features. And he's got a little bit of room in the middle there. I'm not sure why.
Yeah.
He didn't go with that.
That would have been handy.
Yeah.
I can't, because I'm watching on Zoom. I can't see what the words say by the sockets. Is one of them burst?
So you got C out.
Steps burst.
Burst is your column though. So burst is your column above with all those little buttons 1, 2, 3 all the way down to 8. So they're like little burst buttons. The trig is the input on the right, and then gate underneath. So I kind of feel like there needs to be some sort of CV control for the burst.
Definitely.
Because then you've got, I don't know. Maybe you can't. I'm not sure the way the logic works, but I feel like it could have some sort of CV control at least.
Actually, there's not that much space. Those are little black buttons in that void. There's a tiny little space in the middle there.
Yeah, like a couple. Yeah. You could probably squeeze
two
more.
Two more jacks or something.
Yeah. Anyway, that's Tre Modular, and I thought that was interesting. That one, definitely interesting. We'll go to the next. The next is another eurorack module, and I promise you, it's not all eurorack module today. But this one actually is they've brought this module back. So if you guys are fans of noise engineering, you'll probably recognize this module. If you're not, that's fine. I'll tell you all about this. You guys will probably like this. This is a 4-part probabilistic rhythm crossfader. So you can see the 4 parts down the top left-hand corner there. And then you've got your we'll talk about burn in a minute, which is interesting. And you've got your 4 little mute switches. And then down the bottom, you've got your little slider, which is your crossfader. So why don't I show you guys what it's about? Because I reckon you'll like this. I really do. This is a cool thing. I'm just going to pop you off for a sec, Andy.
Yeah.
Noise Engineering's next generation Confundo is here. Confundo Funkidos is our 4-channel rhythm crossfader designed for hands-on jamming. Thank you to everyone who asked for us to bring this classic module back, now with extra features to excite those drum patterns once again. Confundo takes in 2 trigger patterns per channel, which can be crossfaded with the slider. We've kept the fan-favorite burn and mute parameters while introducing accent outputs with algorithmic pattern generation, making Confundo Funkidos a must-have in any modular performance system. Before we get to trigger...
I just thought I'll stop it there. You guys can go check the video out yourselves, but He did mention on the video that it's got those algorithmic patterns, and you can see them in the bottom right hand corner for the accent and for the trigger. So accent's ACC and trigger is the other one. So it'll be something related to those symbols. Will be something related to how they would operate, and you set the switch based on that. So in a way, what you've got is you've got two inputs, right, that you can crossfade between. You can mute these, so it's kind of like a mixer. It's kind of like a, and the burn thing is awesome. It's like one of those real performance sort of modules. Once again, this is a module that doesn't make any sound. You're kind of feeding it things and it's routing it out type thing. That's kind of how it works, right? So yeah, any thoughts, guys, on this one? The Confundo Funkidos.
I don't like the name. I don't. I'd have to call it something else, so I put a bit of black tape over it.
Well, he makes fun Latinized names. I like the.
Yeah. I get that. Yeah.
It just means confusing funk, right, or confusing rhythm, whatever. So.
Yeah, maybe it's the funk bit. I don't do funk. It's got a lot. Yeah, it's got a lot of sockets and stuff on it. That's what you want to see, isn't it? With modular wires on the front.
Yep.
I think it'd be cool for, like he says, for live. Well, not even just for live, actually.
Yeah,
because you don't need to use it for.
You could use it for recording, couldn't you, Daren?
Interested with the ambient stuff.
Yeah, performance. It's a performance stuff, isn't it? Performance thing.
It might be one of those things though that if you were recording with it and you were sort of like jamming and things like that, you're never going to sort of be able to recreate those moments in there unless you sort of muscle memoried it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, happy accidents.
Yeah. So in my opinion, it's kind of one of those once off type situations, and always record your Eurorack.
Record it. Record everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or drone crossfade into a different drone back again, and you can even do that via LFO as well. By the look of it, can't you?
Yeah. There was a couple of other things that were written in the notes here. I just wanted to double check. The actual module is 12 HP. It's $345 US to buy. It's available now. A lot of their modules, by the way, if you guys don't know noise engineering, a lot of their modules are digital, which is a good thing because they do, they don't suffer from the tuning issue.
Control.
They do firmware updates as well, so it's a cool thing. I was reading about the accent patterns generatively created using the rhythms at the inputs. So that's interesting. So it's actually it's like it's listening to the inputs, right? And then it's creating the accents based on that and adding a new dimension the way that would work with the triggers. So it's almost like it's reading the control voltages and then applying some sort of algorithm to that. The other thing too is the burn functionality. They've expanded it with the addition of a potentiometer to make it more versatile. So it does, basically, if you're wondering what burn is, it's like a fill. So it's like a drum fill. But you can use it as a sound fill, same thing. The mute switches have got 3 positions. Each channel can output triggers but not receive burn fills or output accents when set to the middle position. So you can that's actually pretty cool. So you can bypass the burn on certain channels, and that then gives you that fill. And you might not want to fill your kick drum, for example, right? You might just want to fill your snare and your hats or something like that. Or it might be a synth sound that a noise sound or something. So that's pretty cool. Anyway, that's the noise engineering Confundo Funkidos. And Andy's favourite name. There we go. We've got crickets now. I could do the cricket sound. Right. What's next? No more Eurorack. Hooray! Actually, there might be something else. We'll see. We'll see. Just pop you off for a sec there, Andy, because you're just covering it up. Look, I want to talk about this because it came out technically towards the end of last year, technically, right? But it's been really getting some noise in the community. And obviously during the week we had the video from Mr. Lin himself, Roger Lin, where he was talking about how he got sent one of these and he actually went through and took the thing apart and had a look at it, and it was, we had a bit of a chat going on in our Discord server. I don't know if you guys were looking at that, but essentially this is kind of his take on it, which wasn't exactly glowing. So basically what he was kind of saying, just to sort of really paraphrase it, is that he was concerned why there was an inability to tune any of the drums except for the snares, the toms, and the congas. We'll get to a sort of rebuttal point from Behringer in a sec about that. And when you think about, let's mute that channel. When you think about that was weird. Control voltages, people. When you think about that, you've got a modern situation here, and you've got to make a choice if you're going to recreate something. So do you want to recreate it faithfully towards the actual original piece of hardware that was around in the past, or do you want to add some modern features? Now if you look at this, there's definitely a bunch of modern features on this thing. There's the OLED display, there's the the silicon buttons, and there's a whole bunch, right? And this is a by the way, this is a Rant 3D render that you're looking at here, not an actual photo. I thought we'd use this version of the photo instead of the render, sorry, because it shows everything very clearly on it while we're talking about it. I don't know. When you're playing, we had this show a few months back where we talked about digital recreations of sample players, right? And does it have the same nostalgic appreciation than analog recreation? Because digital is basically, at the end of the day, digital is just a bit of software code, right? And sample is basically a sample. So it's pretty easy to recreate a sample. I mean, you can start getting into arguments about DACs, digital audio convert, digital to analog audio converters, and you can start talking about the differences and the sound and things like that. But sample rates can still apply today. You can still downsample and upsample things. A lot of the Lin drum instrument sounds are all over. They're
Keep
all
doing
over.
what you do, Ranz.
There we go. We just got a nice little.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Sorry, I just need to quickly grab that before it disappears. So that was from Torpid Scorpion. Thanks, mate. Good on you.
Was that a
Appreciate
Twitch
that.
thing? Yeah.
Yeah. You guys would have seen that going across the screen anyway. I don't get to see it unless I've got the screen open here. Let's pop Andy back in the corner. One other thing before I go to you guys, there was a rebuttal that came out from Behringer, and they're saying that, oh, by the way, just to let you know that the LM drum already offers tunable options for the snare, 3 toms, 2 congas, equipped with a raw 12-bit variable sampling rate DACs for authentic and versatile sound shaping. So, maybe Roger Lin missed that bit, I'm not sure, or maybe he was talking about the same thing, I'm not sure. But
he did have a prototype, didn't he?
He did have
They
a
sent him the
prototype.
prototype.
Yeah.
So it wasn't the finished version. Yeah.
Yeah. And also because it's a digital drum machine, it's, you know, if this thing's got a processor on it, surely they could just update the firmware on it and enable some of these features through some sort of shift button thing. I don't know. Anyway, over to you guys.
I mean, he had some choice words. They put his comments on Matrix Synth about how they handled working with him.
Yeah.
You know, working with him, and how they're going to. You know, are they going to pay for the samples? Are they going to? It's typical stuff they do, plagiarism, and you know, all kinds of stuff. Plus the interface is like the buttons are like Rhythm Wolf rubber pads. The screen looks like it's from the Digitact, and the Lindrum it's just like part Lindrum, part. It's like a Frankenstein module. I don't know. It's probably fun to use, but it just they did some more unsavory stuff. It's typical, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, let's face it. Roger Lynn is one of the nicest people in our
great.
community. He's brilliant. Yeah. I mean, and a genius inventor. You know.
Sure.
Not only for, you know, I mean, and still, you know, I didn't see any video. I saw because I'm on Roger's mailing list, so he sent a like a press release.
That's the messages. Yeah, that was on the Matrix Synth post. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, and I read the whole thing. Yeah, it is. Yeah, I mean, you know, yes, I have to say this is not for me. Everybody who wants them has got the Lindrum sounds. They've been out on the internet for a long time.
Yeah.
I've got them put into my Roland TR8S. Really, I know it wouldn't play the same, but
there's a bank on the Machina Plus. The Lindrum sounds right there.
Yeah, I mean, it's cheap, isn't it? It's 300. Is it 350 quid, 370 quid, something like that? It's not expensive, you know. And if you really hanker after something that's pretty close, because I think he said the circuitry is very close inside, you know. And if you want that,
it is and it isn't, Ian. So
right.
The operating system is completely different. So the digital side
that
is
makes
completely.
sense.
I mean, it has to be because it's got a whole bunch of different buttons and stuff on it, right? So that's kind of like a head scratchy thing, right? Don't you think, guys? Because like if you're saying, oh, we're going to try and recreate this limb drum, and then all of a sudden here you are faced with a completely different operating system, it's not going to behave the same way as an original limb drum because it's different, a completely different software running it. It might achieve playing the samples of a limb drum. Does that make sense? Am I kind of getting my point across?
No,
here?
It's not the same experience at all.
It's not the same experience.
No.
And I think Roger was kind of hinting at that. He was saying, "Well, hang on. In one corner, you're saying you want to recreate this thing as faithful as you can, but then you've got challenges where you want to try and modernize it, and like you said, Andy, you were correct on this one. I feel like they've got like a build template now for some of these devices, like they're drum machines now that they've got like the 808 clone and the 909 clone. They're all starting to sort of show similar, you know, bits and pieces on them. So they're just cutting and pasting that in their UI design. The other thing I should mention too was when he was talking about the visual design, the logo. You know, there's things where they've borrowed visual designs, and there's things where they've ignored visual designs. So for example, the usability stuff. So the logo might look similar, but the usability is different because your sliders. If you look underneath where Andy Synkotron is, there's all those sliders, right? And there's two banks of them, two rows of them. It might work for you. You guys might think that's okay, but I kind of feel like there's kind of, you know, there's the sound design sort of stuff over on the right, and the sequencing and triggering stuff over on the left. And I don't know about you guys, but I kind of feel like I need to get a photo of the Lindrum. But I kind of feel like those pads at the bottom on the left should be underneath the sliders on the right.
Yeah.
Because it corresponds, you know. But yeah, it's just me. It's a little eclectic in my mind, the design.
Yeah. And Dave makes a good point in the chat. You know, Roger has moved on, and Roger says he's moved on. I mean, he's always looking forward. He's always trying to come up with something new, which is great. You know.
Indeed. Anyway, so should we just quickly talk about this thing as a product itself? For those who don't know, it has the 8/12-bit sampling sound engine to give you that authentic Lindrum sound, and I think that's like, if you want to go and do the Prince sequences, I think you're going to be able to do it. You know, there's 109 drum sounds. I mean, it's not hard to do that, right? Because they're just digital samples from the LM1, the LM2. I don't even think there was an LM2. I don't even.
Rob's not. I don't think Robbie's in the chat. Robbie says there wasn't one.
I'm pretty sure there was.
The whole last show he was saying there was no LM2.
Yeah, he was, wasn't he?
And we showed the. Do you remember last show we showed that funky version of the LM9000 as well? Anyway, apparently there's sounds on that, and they've added other 80s drums in there, so God knows what they are. So they're not even anything from the Lindrum. You've got an original 3320 VCF, so that's a Curtis filter, right? If you guys didn't know that, and it's got 2164 VCAs. So all they're saying there is they're using kind of standard vintage type analog VCFs and VCAs, which is nice. That's nice. I actually did like that part of it. So you've got digital samples running through analog filters and VCAs. That's pretty cool. 16 digital to analog converters with variable sample rates, as I mentioned before. That's 12-bit resolution. 16 voice architecture. The 64-step drum sequencer. This is where the sequencer software is different to the original, right? It has things like supports polymeter, step repeat, note repeat, real-time triggering, track mute, track solo, that sort of stuff. It has integrated FX on it, which has a wave designer and a dual mode analog filter per voice. It has 16 velocity sensitive drum pads, as you can see there, with aftertouch, live recording, editing and playback of analog filter cutoff via automation, which is cool.
Did it say what effects? Are these in Clark Technic or the TC Helicon, or what are they using?
No, I thought the effects were the analog filter and wave designer. I think they were the two effects.
Okay. Okay.
The storage, so in the software itself, you can store up to 8 songs and 128 patterns, and they can be imported and exported using the software, which is like the Synth Tribe, I think it is software. Then there's a pattern mode, which allows arrangement of patterns into full songs, and then you can set a number of repeats per song, and so you've got kind of all those typical sort of features that in that sense. What was the other thing too? So there's a unique auto scroll feature which enables improvisations in all modes. I don't really know what that is. I probably need to watch the video for that. I actually didn't get to see that bit. Comprehensive MIDI in, out, through, plus USB implementation for synchronization. I don't know how good, like they say comprehensive MIDI, I don't know how good the MIDI is. Like, does that mean we're able to use this like a tone generator, and we can then access all the instruments via MIDI channel? Does that what they mean? So like, that sort of stuff is kind of would be cool, I feel. But yeah, okay, so at the end of the day, the user interface is kind of what's selling you this, right? To be able to play Lindrum sounds, like from LM1 or LM9000 or whatever, right? You're going to be able to put those on an MPC. You're going to be able to put those on a friggin' any sampler. So that's going to be achievable. You can put them in your DAW. We will do it. We've all done it already. So is this form factor, is this design, are you kind of romantic to reminiscent old 80s drum machines? Does that sell to you? Or how does it feel? How does it sit with you guys?
It doesn't sell it for me, but then again, I don't want it, so.
Yeah.
I think it's changed significantly, so it's not reminiscent, really, right? It's changed a lot. So
it would be much more cool if I had a real Lindrum. I probably never switched on. That would look really cool.
And the little EEPROMs you can put in.
Yeah. And I suppose I'd like to play a real Lindrum because I never have. I'd like to, I would at some point, I'd like to go in the studio and play one. I'll never be able to afford one,
So is it performable? Did you see it as something that you could actually set this up and just perform it and actually not save anything at all and just build up patterns on the fly? Is that could you do that sort of thing with it?
You can. How well you can is kind of the question that I was sort of getting to. But if you want, I can show you the video. There's a little intro. We're not going to go through the whole video, right? Which talks about the story and all that crap. But I can show you it, and you guys can make your own opinion. So it's been out for a little while now, this video. So all right, just pop Andy off for a sec.
You know, there's just something incredibly inspiring about those magical sounds from a golden era of music. An era that dreamt of the future, not knowing it was creating the timeless echoes of an iconic past. And here we are,
Bit of an ad for
40
Behringer
years
here.
on, where walls of exclusivity crumble to pieces, and the sounds that made history are within anyone's grasp. Introducing a rebirth of a legend.
It's quite a beast of a thing, isn't it? That thing. Anyway, that's the vid. I don't think we should watch the rest of the video because it goes into sort of history. Andy, I don't know if it really sort of gave you any more information about that from the video. There might be some.
I mean,
it
sounds great. It'd be no good for me because I don't even have percussion in my stuff. But I can see it being. I mean, Wagyu's got one, so.
They're $399 US. These things, so it's pretty cheap. Quite a big
price.
Quite a big thing too. I feel like it was kind of like, quite a decent size.
It'd be funny in that video if you had a Chinese knockoff Stratocaster as well, just to add to the mix. So
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that guitar pedal stuff is going crazy at the moment. The knockoff guitar pedals. I think I showed you guys one a few weeks back. There's the Donner company, the ones, the Chinese company that's doing synth stuff. They've now brought out a guitar pedal that, loosely would be stealing algorithms, I think.
Well, there are a whole bunch on Amazon that are just whatever brand, and some are reported to be halfway decent, and so.
They are dirt cheap, like 20 quid.
Yeah. Well, anyway, that is the LM drum. I'm not sure. Like, I don't really need it because I mean, at the end of the day, it's making sounds that I've already got the samples for. I don't really need a physical device to do that for me.
And I have way more control of the sounds with the Machina Plus than this thing has.
Yeah.
So
exactly. MPC.
I've got a DM5, so I mean, if I wanted to do anything like that, I would just hook up the Beta Step Pro with the DM5.
Yeah, exactly, mate. All right. Well, there's another Behringer product that I wanted to show that came out also in the last couple of weeks that we missed during the Christmas New Year, and that's this weird thing, the Phara-O. How do you say this? Phara-O?
Phara-O Mini.
Yeah, like hieroglyphics and craziness on this thing. I mean, is this a Volca keys? Is that what this is?
It's that sort of size and thing, isn't it? It's quite.
Yeah.
It's basically it's claiming to have the MS700-ish sound, right?
All right, okay.
So it's definitely Korg-esque. Yeah. Anyway, so another one of these.
Yeah, because the Volca keys, and I got this from Korg. When they brought the Volca keys out, it basically was a 700.
Yeah.
In a small form factor. You know.
Yep. Which I loved.
And yeah, exactly. I mean, I absolutely love the 700 I've gotten up there, but I mean, yeah. So maybe there might be some litigation if they've ripped off their algorithms. Or it's analog though, so
it's analog, yeah. Yeah, they were talking about intellectual property on Behringer today. They're really, really flying.
Do they
that
even know what
legal
that
flag.
means? Yeah.
I don't
Do
think
they even care?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look, the way I see it is, Behringer didn't need to produce this product. I mean,
Absolutely
it's
not.
not really adding anything major different to what the Volca keys did. So I don't really know why they needed to add this product out.
Well, it's
there.
like the Keystep knockoff. They didn't even make that either. So
Yeah, well, that's that was one of the worst ones they did.
yeah, gratuitous.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't know if you guys. The video is hilarious. Like hilarious in the sense of I think there's something wrong, drastically going wrong with them. I'll show you.
The name is very cheesy.
Have a look at this video. I mean, we're selling a synth here, right? So far, we haven't seen the synth yet. Still haven't seen it. We're hearing drums. This thing doesn't do drums.
Yeah.
It doesn't make that.
That's a tar right there.
It doesn't make a guitar sound.
Yeah. I mean, oud. Sorry, oud.
All right, so now that we're into the video and they're showing the features of this thing, but what I want you guys to do, I mean, I lost it like laughing at how pathetic this video was. I want you guys to just listen to the music and think to yourself, hang on a minute, this doesn't sound like a Volca keys at all. Where's this music coming from? All right, here we go.
Yeah.
That would have to be, in my opinion, and you guys can throw your synth at the screen if you disagree with me, but that would have to be the worst marketing video, hands down, that I have ever seen for a synthesizer. It just
I quite like the snare
completely...
sound.
The
I
snare,
did
the
like the
snare
snare
sounds
sound.
awesome. I love that snare.
It's very dry. It's brilliant. It's got nothing to do with this.
It's got absolutely nothing to do with this synth. Like, show us the
Yeah.
synth. I think they're having a bit of fun. I'm sure they're having a bit of fun, right? So I
Yeah,
get
but
it.
it's not aimed at synth people, is it? That know the synths. It's more aimed at cheap, young people. Having said that, if you listen to that, you go, "Great, I can make all that on that."
Yeah.
And
I
then
mean,
get it and go,
it's a little
"Oh."
deceptive, isn't it?
Well, they're probably also not playing the sounds because it does sound so much like what they copied. They don't want to get in trouble with that. So
Yeah.
And
You can
that
only listen
front
to it
panel,
via
it
earphones, so no one
it
else
does
can.
look a mess, doesn't it?
It's a mess.
It looks a complete.
Yeah.
It's a mess.
It's
I
ugly.
mean,
Sorry,
right,
Andy, I'm going to pop you on there, mate.
Yeah,
as a former Egypt fan who
who
used to go to the museum all the time, I used to draw hieroglyphics.
Yeah.
I wouldn't use this stupid thing. So
Yeah. That one is a definite no from me. I just think like there's piss takes in the industry, and this is an absolute piss take. And I really think if you guys want the MS700 sound, just go and get a Korg Volca keys. It's amazing. It's an amazing little device.
It's brilliant. Yeah,
And they've been around for a
when
long
it
time.
came out, it was the cheapest analog thing you could buy, and it was decent.
Yeah.
and you can pick them up really cheap second hand.
Yeah.
The is it the what's the mode in it? That there's another mode in. Does it have the same thing? Yeah, this has got exactly the same modes. It's got the poly, the unison, the octave, the fifth, the ring, and the ring poly. It's got exactly the same modes. The fifth mode on the Volca keys sounds so meaty, and just punching it through the filter. It's a really, really cool thing.
I just want to see one company like Korg could do this because they're big. Have a lawsuit and just go after these guys. Can't one company just go after them?
I don't think they can, because
why not?
It's not patented. It's not copyrightable.
But they're using the same terminology. They're using the same right. I mean, there are aspects of it there.
They're pretty clever.
Yeah, but this is far out.
They're pretty clever. Yeah. There's nothing on this that really looks like a Korg Volca keys, right?
No, it doesn't.
It's they're pretty clever.
The layout is the buttons and stuff.
They know what they're doing. They're pretty clever. Anyway, that was a bit of fun, guys. I just wanted to show you that. So I do apologise if it's upset you. Or maybe I did that on purpose. Next is this, right? What is this, people?
A fader bank.
This is called the Lemon. Andy, you like this? This is not a eurorack module. It is by a company that does make eurorack modules, though. NoisyFruitsLabs. This is called the Lemon. If you haven't worked it out. And what is this? This is actually a MIDI and CV controller, and it's got a bit of logic in it. So I'm just wondering if Chris has come back. No, he's not here yet. So it's got a bit of logic in it. It's got 8 channels with LED faders. So the faders have got the little LED lights in them, and potentiometers. And it's got smooth, precise controls with high quality CV outputs. Integrate MIDI connectivity. You've got the TRS DIN MIDI with in and out with AB switching to ensure seamless integration into every setup. You've got 16 mappable MIDI buttons and LEDs. You've got, on the CV side, it's 0 to 5 volts or 0 to 10 volts for each fader and button. Plus, there's some benefits with this as well. And that is, it's got a preset management system with web and desktop editors. And you get compatible open deck mini firmware for custom configurations. So it's open source firmware that you can hack, and flexible power options via USB or eurorack if you want to power it in your eurorack, because as I said, these guys are eurorack people. But this is actually a desktop module. The only thing,
are those button colors for Mutant Solo, is that where they're two different colors?
Not sure, mate.
Equivalent to that?
Not sure. There is a video. It's only 20 seconds. I don't really think it does say a lot, but we'll have a look. I've got questions about this, put it that way. So let's have a quick look.
Chris is on his way, by the way, Rand.
Okay. Anyway, that's the video. It doesn't really tell us a great deal. My question is, and this is if you guys are watching from Noisy Fruit Labs, tell us, is this, because it's USB connected to your computer, can I DC control this through my computer? If it's CV, MIDI to CV, can I DC control this? That'd be interesting. And I can see some benefits there. I don't know if it is, though. It doesn't mention anything in the notes about that. Questions, guys? Or answers, even.
I'd have to look more into it. It looks interesting. It looks like you can put it into your eurorack, doesn't it? Even though it's a desktop. Maybe you can take them screws out and put it in your module
case.
You take it out of the case. Yep.
But to be honest with you, I'd probably leave something like that out anyway.
They've got some more of this sort of stuff on their website, by the way. So this is not their only offering in this kind of realm. This is kind of the thing that these guys do. Yeah,
are those trim pots at the top, or are they switches? I can't quite tell from the image.
Trim pots at the top. They're pots.
They're pots, are they? Yeah,
above the buttons, they're pots. Yeah.
Yeah, so you just probably offset the fader, don't you, with the trim pot, possibly.
Yeah.
Or attenuate it. I don't know.
I think they're attenuators. That's what I think.
Attenuators, yeah. Okay.
So 8 channels with LEDs and faders. So what you can control via MIDI are the sliders, the buttons. They're all mappable, and the LEDs, I believe, as well. So I don't know what they mean by that, but maybe you can change colors or something. Not sure. Yeah. Anyway, so MIDI to CV is a thing now because lots of people have Eurorack. So.
Need to see more, really. I need to see it actually in use, or what exactly it's going to do.
Yep.
Interesting, though.
270 euros.
270 euros. I believe it's available now. Yep.
It is available now on their website. They've got 2 left in stock.
Yeah, I noticed they had 4 when I was looking at it earlier this afternoon. So that's weird.
The video needed to sell it to you so you knew what exactly you were going to get.
Yeah, indeed, it did, Darren.
Yeah, it needs more info, really.
Yeah. All right. Well,
although it did work in the video, so it wasn't a lemon, right? Lemon's someone said in the chat. It's not the best name for it. So.
Not the Friday model, anyway. Okay, one more thing.
Well,
to show
you were doing it, it'd be making sounds on all sorts. It'd be a groove box.
This last thing will make Andy very happy, and that is we are looking at some more Eurorack. Just one more thing. So what do we got here? I actually really, when I saw this, I went, "Whoa! I'm going to show this. This is actually a really cool idea." What it is these guys, CubuSynth, they've said, right, we're going to create four modules that are compact, and they're going to do some really sort of regular things that we want to do, but in a way, we want to make it so that they tie in with each other. So what you've got is 4 HP. You like the little play on words here because it's called 4 cubed, right? So it's 4 HP with 4 channels each. Notice how each of them have got 4 channels on them. So they're all patchable, and each module across there, so they all have different functions, right? So you've got a clock generation module with probability, a decay envelope, VCA, and mixing. So that's what all these 4 do. But what I love about it is, I mean, 4's a 16 HP only taken up for all of that cool stuff, and you've got 4 channels in it. I think this is genius. Let me just show you guys the video, and the price is only, going to do maths here, £228, somewhere around there, for all 4.
Oh, it's impressive, that.
Here we go.
While there is no gate input for Eurorack, in a small, space-saving, affordable and easy to DIY format. It features clock generator with probability, decay envelopes, VCA and mixing. The 4 trig module features 4 probability gate skippers, while the first channel can turn into a clock generator while there is no gate input present. This can then be used to trigger, for example, the 4 decay envelopes, which feature 4 decay envelope generators ranging from 1 milliseconds up to 2 seconds of decay times. The 4 VCA features 4 linear analog VCAs, where the CV input is normalized always down to the next following CV input below, and any output that is not connected will be mixed down to the mixed output. Then we have the 4 mix, which is a simple CV and audio mixer with 4 channels, each with its own knob, and normal and phase inverted output.
There we go. I don't know what happened to Andy.
Yeah, I forgot to put the power onto the GoPro.
Oh, okay. It says Elgato.
I'll just turn it back on. Yeah.
No worries, buddy. So yeah, that, interesting sort of thing. I mean, obviously, the whole thing here is based on the 4 inputs to the 4 outputs and how you then mix with them. I can definitely see them expanding this into some other things, like definitely some sort of modulation stuff would be another definite, like a 4 LFO type jobber. What else? Filter, like a quad filter, would be good. And then I'm kind of thinking, this could even sort of branch into some sort of polyphonic territory with a 4-voice polyphony type setup as well. And I don't know you guys, but I've been playing around over here with the nifty keys, and I've got the 4 110 voices on it. So this kind of thing's pretty cool. That would probably fit nicely. And what is it? 200 and what did I say it was? 228 pounds. It's pretty good.
That's a good price for 4 modules.
Anyway, CubuSynth. I don't know if you guys know, but they also do that engine, that massive big oscillator engine module. So they've been around for a while. Those guys are pretty cool. I believe they're available now too. Any comments, guys?
Oh, interesting.
Well, I'm just going to say, decent. Not bad price for 4 modules.
Yeah.
Great.
And they look nice as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's decent stuff.
I'd like to know a little bit more about the probability stuff. Personally, I think some more information on that would be good.
So it's got it's got 4 in the last or the far right module.
It's a mixer.
That's got 4 inputs and 2 outputs. Am I reading that right? I can't.
Yeah,
quite see the
I don't
text.
understand why one of the output is written upside down.
It's upside down, isn't it? Yeah.
Maybe it's phased. Maybe it's
Yeah, he did. He said phased out.
He did. Okay.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, he said phased out. And
So it is a summing mixer,
Yeah,
so that would make sense,
okay.
and that would be attenuators for the level. So it is a proper mixer. You can use it for audio applications and CV as well.
Yeah. Cool.
The VCA does look interesting though, doesn't it? I mean, you don't often see VCAs without attenuators on them, right? So this one does. There's no attenuators on this. Interesting. So the way I see it is that VCA works beautifully with the decay envelopes to the left of it. That's the way I see it working. So
Wait, isn't a CV mixer linear taper, not audio taper?
well, he said it does. He said it does both.
Does both? Okay.
Yeah, which is quite common.
Because when you buy the Depfer one, the Depfer has 2 models. They have one for audio and one for CV, and they're one's linear taper, one's audio taper.
Yeah,
so.
and it's also quite common to some of the CV circuitries that are out there. Anyway, now let's get the 6 up happening because we've finished all the little products this week, and we're going to go boomcha. Turn Andy off there. Hey, there's Chris.
Hello.
Hi,
How are you, mate?
Hello. I'm good, mate.
Hey, Chris.
How you guys?
Good.
And Andrew Synkotron. How's it going, mate? Nice to see your studio. Excellent shade of purple too. Oh no, it's red. Oh no, it's changing.
It was green, and it was red, it was blue. Yes.
Pink and yellow one.
I've got my little thing behind me. Where is it? That one that I can like remote control the colors.
Yeah, you can.
I've had it for years, and I'm like, I never ever use it. It just does that because I can't be bothered touching it. Apparently, you can get eurorack modules to manipulate those things. So
You can indeed, yeah.
yeah.
Yes.
I've always thought I might do that one day, but never got around to it. You know, it's really not an audio application, so I've never got around to it.
That didn't stop
All that
me
great
from...
DMX stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, the DMX stuff. Yeah, that was cool. I don't know what you saw, Chris, but we showed a couple of eurorack modules today.
I saw something that made me cry a little.
Yeah.
That last thing.
Oh, the 4?
The 4 overlaps the Trexie and the Targent, the products that I'm working on. So it made me cry a little bit, but I'm over crying now.
No, you just keep going with what you do.
You just got to keep going.
Yeah.
Don't quit your channel.
Exactly.
Don't quit.
The theme of tonight's
This is the
show,
not
I can
quitting
see.
show.
Keep going.
Okay. Well, that's fine.
Yeah, this is the not quitting show today.
I have the impressive marketing power of everyone on this stream, so
too.
they don't have a chance.
No, they don't have a
I'm gonna
chance. Yeah,
destroy them.
yeah. But we can't censor what goes through though, because we have to be
No, it's good. It's
fair.
good. It's good that you're balanced and even-handed, Ranzee.
Yeah.
Keeps us all honest.
That's it. Anyway, so you can talk to me about those other modules that I showed earlier when you go and watch the replay, I guess. I'll talk to you offline about them.
Cool.
There was an interesting sequencer on there, put it that way, that I think you'd probably be interested in.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. Well, out of all the stuff on the news, we got through some interesting stuff. What would you buy out of that?
Oh, gate sequencer.
Ooh, very good.
Yeah, that PLL sequencer is pretty cool.
Yeah. Phase
The Behringer Phara-O.
lock loop.
Absolutely not.
You liar.
Well, it's funny because PLLs are used on
you
like
didn't see what
radio
you did.
circuits and stuff.
They did, yeah.
They're like
Absolutely.
AM/FM radios they had forever. So yeah.
Yeah. With the tuning thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. Cool. All right.
I'd just save me money, I think.
Well, okay.
Good
Maybe
game.
the question is, what are you definitely not buying? And I think most of us would be
I'm
in
definitely not
chorus.
buying any of the
In
Behringer
chorus, starting with the
Phara-O.
B.
Phara-O.
Phara-O.
Yeah,
Far out.
that one's going to be a bit
Phara-O.
of a
Oh my God, that's terrible. Yeah.
I think that's going to be a flop. That thing, I really do.
I'd rather buy a Eurorack. There, I've said it.
Oh my!
Oh, that's strong.
Wow!
words.
Oh,
Wow!
You heard it first. You heard it first here, folks.
It's that filth coming out of your mouth, Ian. Oh, God.
hang on, I'm going to summon Robbie. He'll sort you out.
Yeah. No. Robbie's asleep at the moment. It's all right.
Fair enough. Geez, I tell you what, talking about sleeping, some of those Kent 9-hour marathon pub the other day.
Yeah.
Good on you, Kent. He probably hasn't
He did have a nap
come
in
out
the
of
middle
bed
of it
from
as
that.
well,
Did he? Oh, okay.
Yeah, he turned his camera off at one point and had a bit of a nap. Bless him.
Oh, that's funny. I couldn't do that. That's some insane amount of stuff.
We used to have long ones. There used to be really long ones, 8, 9, 10 hours.
Well, it was starting in the afternoon, didn't it? So he was working.
Yeah.
And then
He was working on
moved
some
into the
synths,
evening.
yeah. And then
The problem is we would do like 8 or 9, 10 hours and then like 2 hours offline afterward. The private chat video.
yeah.
It's like Kent's got to go to bed. So
I get told off for doing that sort of stuff by the wife. Yeah. She's like, wow, you got a life to live. You got children. Yeah. Okay, fine. No worries. Right. So what we're going to do next is I think we're going to go with this. I found some stuff, people. I don't know whether I need to get the auctions up. I guess I can. One of my favourites started off with one of my friends, like, bright shiny lights. I like this. What is it, about 2,800 pounds or something like that for a ProMars?
Yeah, 2,500 is probably closer, isn't it?
it's not that bad. Yeah, it's not that bad.
2,500 plus 350, 2,850. Let's go with that.
Oh,
okay.
God. I couldn't see the shipping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So ProMars, if you guys don't know, is like a Jupiter 4, but just with the single. Well, it's duophonic, 2 voices. It's not really. It's duophonic because it's got 2 oscillators, but that's about the only cool thing about it. Yeah, but I just like the sound of it. This thing's ProMars is cool. ProMars.
Does that stand come with it? The Roland stand?
It's a funny stand. Yeah.
Let's have a look.
It's like those cheesy Casio stands from the 80s that has
Oh, it
Yes,
Casio
it
on
is.
The stand comes with it. Bonus original Roland stand comes with it. Actually, do you guys want to have a look? I'll show you.
Yeah.
We'll go across. It's on Reverb. It's very nice looking.
I mean, I'd have that.
I just think that's a beautifully designed. I mean, oozes 70s, doesn't it, in this design? But it just looks so beautiful. And the sound, of course, is amazing. Yeah. It's kind of eclectic. It's like it's got patch memory, right? But you can't manipulate the patches and store them.
Yeah,
It does have a memory write thing on it though. Maybe you can. I don't know. I could never ever work that part out because I've never owned one. So that's part of the problem there.
I only ever played one in the shop. And liked it.
Maybe you can write the patches on it. I'm not sure. And it doesn't matter if I'm wrong or if I'm right because no one cares. See?
No.
See, Scotty? You watching?
Don't quit, Rans.
I'm not going to quit.
Yeah.
Let's have a look at this one. Jupiter 6, people. Jupiter 6. Everyone's favourite Jupiter is Jupiter 6.
I prefer 4. I prefer the Jupiter 4.
Yeah.
But I'm weird. Or no?
About £7,000.
No, 6 for me. That's what I found.
£6,500.
Yeah.
This one is in auction land. It's a beautiful looking synth, isn't it? Hey,
Yeah.
It's got
It's
a
in
price
nice
tag.
condition.
It's nice. As Europa mod is nice. It gives some more features.
It has MIDI.
Wow. This is one Kent's worked. It's not in the UK, is it?
This one is in Belgium, in Antwerp.
All right. Turn Lab.
Yeah. Okay, so there's that. 6 voices of 2 oscillators per voice. Yeah. Can't really go wrong with that, can you? Now we're starting to get into the nitty gritty. The next one, guys, the nitty gritty. You know, nothing like a bit of nitty gritty. You ready? You guys all sitting down? Andy, you still sitting down, aren't you? Andy's in the background. Hang on, let's put Andy up in the corner. The grey meanie, Andy. The grey meanie. And apparently, there was only 34 of these made. Apparently.
Yeah.
I'm
about
not sure.
what's that, 40 grand, something like that.
Well, I was thinking about.
Yeah,
I was thinking about asking.
just under. Yeah.
I was thinking about asking Mark Zuckerberg to fact check this, but apparently he's done with fact checking.
He stopped that, and yeah. So
Just give it to the crowd.
It's on the
They
internet. It
know
must be
it's
true.
38 and a bit £1,000. This little baby. That's a lot of Malula bars.
Ah, yes.
It is. We can have this. Sorry, Andy. You keep getting stuck up in the corner there. You can just buy the Behringer, you know?
Yeah.
Only £350 for the Behringer. Actually, I think the grey mini one's about £500 because it's got the. Let me have a little sip.
It's in really good
Spring
condition, though. I mean, I wonder if it's been restored.
Was the grey mini the one? Where's Wagyu? Is Wags in the show today?
Yeah.
The grey
No,
mini was the one that
Yeah.
they got in trouble with Moog with, isn't it? This is the one they got in trouble
Yeah.
with.
With the ladder filter.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's
Yeah.
this one.
Yeah.
God,
That's
I love the sound of the ARP 2600. I absolutely love it.
Well, they had that on the original Odyssey as well. Had the ladder filter in it.
Yeah.
There was a Moog filter version.
Now this the one that makes this kind of even more interesting is it's got the 3604 keyboard on it as well, and in a way they're kind of also pretty hard to come by as well. So I mean, look, this one's in San Diego, so it's, you know, Andy, you could go for a bit of a drive down south, grab yourself one of these. What do you think, mate? Yeah.
Can't quite afford that, but the thought is good. Yes.
Yeah. Speaking of good, let's look at this one. An Obi-Wan. The Star Wars synth. That's the one. The Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Indeed. Help me,
Yeah.
Obi-Wan.
Leia. Upon Leia. Okay. Let's have a look at Jeez, we're getting bad.
Ba-bow.
For about 4,000 smackaroonie pounds. This was a bit of a weird Oberheim, this one. 2 VCOs, a VCF, an oldie but a goodie, right? It's a mono synth, isn't it?
Yeah,
So is that the pitch bend down the bottom left there?
that's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a bit like the, I don't know, setting something. Jeez. It is wild. I
it's
actually
like a lever.
I actually really like that. Someone should bring that back. That's kind of
Bring back the levers.
Yeah. Bring that baby back. Like,
How would you like to switch your synthesizer on with one of those giant knife switches? You know, like Frankenstein was depicted as being switched on in all those films.
imagine that being like hooked up to like a cross mod circuit and sort of like then driving the filter, and as you're kind of pushing that massive lever, it's just the synthesizer screaming at you. I reckon that'd be kind of cool. Yes, guys, I do have fantasies. Right, that's the last one. Yeah. Which one would you get? The Grey Meanie, the Obi-Wan Kenobi, the Jupiter
Obi-Wan.
6, or the Pro Mars?
Obi-Wan's cool. I tried a 2-voice, but never an Obi-Wan.
Well, I mean, this one could be hand delivered by Princess Leia, if you ask nicely. This one's in Austin, Texas. Sorry, but she's dead now. The actual
Carrie.
Carrie Fisher.
Please, Carrie.
Well, it
Bless
doesn't stop from reusing her in the last movie. So
Yeah, the digital.
It was a bit naff, wasn't it? I didn't really like it.
Yeah, it was.
Very, very early version of deep faking. That's why.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, no, that's
bad
you're
enough.
talking about the Rogue One. I'm talking about they actually reused her in the last one, training Rey.
Oh, yeah.
They didn't shoot that
Oh,
footage.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was it the last?
that's
Jedi
the one I
or
haven't
something?
seen.
You're not missing much.
I do remember there was a lot of shots of someone that was from behind.
Yeah.
So I mean, like,
That's the easiest way to.
yeah.
You know. Remember when Bela Lugosi died during Plan 9 from Outer Space, and they had him coming out with a cape. An actor came out with a cape like this. Act like it was him.
that'll work.
You know.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
Hang on, I thought he was 6 foot. This guy looks like he's 5'3". What's going on?
Yeah. It's classic. Ed Wood stuff.
Yeah. I don't know.
I think I'd have the 2600, but not at that price.
That's what I was
That
thinking.
was-
Ian. Maybe I could
Yeah,
just
yeah.
go there at a really, really early hour of the night and
Yeah.
5-finger discount it. Yeah.
I was just sitting out in the garden. I think I could just take it, Garner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I thought it was being a bit too mean.
I thought it was dibs. Yeah, if you can
so
see it.
I took it off your hands. Yeah. Well, that's it, guys, with all the bits and pieces that I've managed to put together for the show today. So don't worry, it doesn't mean we have to go anywhere. But like, we've covered all the topics, though, and that's the good thing, right? We can make sounds. We can.
Yeah.
Now,
You need
Chris.
to take the
Hey,
sample of "Tell 'Em He's Dreaming" and put a ring modulator on it.
Tell him he's dreaming.
Tell him he's dreaming.
Yeah.
Tell him he's tell him he's dreaming.
he's found a use for his P6, everyone.
4 of them. What do you want?
That's it.
180. He's dreaming.
Dad? 450.
For jousting sticks. Tell him he's dreaming.
How did they go back there? That's kind of weird. Oh, I think the algorithm of the thing takes us back there. Ah, there you go. Yeah. I don't know what to tell you guys. There's nothing more from me, so I'm going to hand the show over to you guys, and you can entertain me for the next hour.
Well, I'll just say to Ian while I've got a moment about just the stuff that he's looking at. The reverb on those tracks, or pretty much the reverb, it's blended with other reverbs, but the main reverb on the tracks is from. You'll get it in with the actual concept of the album is an old Cold War listening station. So it's a IR. It's a convolution reverb of an old, listening station in the Cold War for nuclear war, and that's the reverb of it. It's blended with some other reverb on some tracks, but not on all.
Yeah, so that's the actual space.
Let me just open it up, and I'll tell you what order I wanted to put them in. So I had first track.
Let me just guess before you say it. Let me see.
Go on, you guess. Yeah, you guess. Yeah, I'm sorry, everybody.
Yeah,
this is a great album that's going to come out when Daren's ready.
I was thinking it was going to be track 2, 3, 1, 5, and 6, or it might have started off with 3.
It starts off with 2, 5, 1.
Oh right, I didn't see that one.
3, 4.
Ah right, no,
that's the way I've gone.
Have to listen to that.
None of us have any idea what these guys are
talking about. Exactly. Yeah.
I'm like, I got nothing, you guys.
Just
you got nothing. You got
nothing. And pretend you know what you're talking about.
I feel like Carl Pilkington's cryptic clues here. So.
Yeah. But
bingo.
I thought you'd quite be interested in that, like the reverbs linked to the actual
and the supplementary number
concept of the
definitely
album.
Yeah, no. Yeah. And it's great. It really is good.
And the fallout sounds is actually me in Wales when it's raining on the sunroof of the car. Like picturing as though it's.
Yeah.
Ooh. So there's bits in there that's.
And your vocal samples. Your vocal samples, have you cleared them, or are they?
No, that'd be the problem. You see,
free?
that's why I said it's. No, that's what I'm saying. See, that's the problem behind the tracks.
Yeah, I did wonder about that. It's,
because I think one of them's from the 1950s, obviously advertising.
Yeah.
What to do in. Yeah. That was the downside to it.
I can tell you, I tried to clear a politician's speech from it was Second World War, so it's about 1941. This speech of a British politician wasn't particularly long, but for worldwide clearance, they wanted, I think it was 10 grand. And that's
that's the standard.
Absolutely,
that's just the standard get in the door number, though.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I actually got my father, my Jane's dad, because the original politician was from sort of Durham area, and Brian's from up that way. So I got him to do it. It didn't sound quite the same, and I actually then tweaked it because actually him saying that was okay. But it's obviously I then tried to make it sound like it was early 40s and late 30s.
50s. Well, Ian, you see, we've also got a vocalist just to the side of me or below me.
Yeah, of course you have. Yeah.
Which may work. In fact, actually, the little girl, the little girl in the Wastelands.
Yes.
That is just text to speech.
I bought some text to speech thing. I used a female text to speech, and it was a small licensing fee. I mean, it was probably about £10. And you could pick a voice. So I picked a Scottish slave.
Sorry.
It's all right.
Oh, I love it. My favourite.
So we finished our private conversation now. Sorry, chatties.
Yeah.
But it's
yeah,
great.
But you,
I mean,
you will hear
I think-
Chris tomorrow.
Yeah, I think you'd be fine putting it out on Bandcamp because I don't think they bothered on Bandcamp that bothered that much. But streaming would be a problem.
That's the reason. That's when I sent
Yeah.
it to you. I said, I'm not going to be able to do what I originally planned out, but it was done in quick. You know, it was just done quickly. I had the idea.
But it's great. It really is good. And in fact, my next question is, tell me when you're going to release it because I'll play some of it on the radio show.
Ooh. Oh yeah, no problem.
I'm happy to play it.
Well,
yeah.
well, like I say, once you've had another look at it and give me some tips back, and I'll like you say, I'll rework the tracks so they work in that order.
That sounds familiar.
Why don't we show a bit of this, eh? Permission
Yeah,
granted. Permission granted.
Permission just granted.
This is what Chris has been up to, guys. Why don't we go back a bit? Actually, this is really cool at the start. Here we go. Bit of teaser there. Go check out Chris's Makeshifter channel, which is called Makeshifter on YouTube. And you can find out what he's been doing with the GP82 module and the new firmware. Yeah.
This very address.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you for this plug. Yes. No, it's a pity we haven't seen Magoo, but he might be. He'll probably LM drummed out, or he'll be blissing out to my video, or he'll be. I haven't had any sales for my module from him though, so I don't know. Wago was the reason why that whole video series started.
Oh yeah, because he asked you. Yeah.
Because he asked me.
He's probably just waiting to make sure you had it before he got it. So. Yeah.
Now, the other video that I wanted to show was... How far back was it, Daren?
Which video is this? Which video are you on about, Rand? I can't.
The one with you and Chris. I might just quickly show this.
The second or the first collab?
The ski whiff one.
That's the second. That was the last.
That
one.
That was the last one. That's the last one on. Yeah, that was the last one.
I believe in life out there.
Jeez, I wonder whose voice was that. There we go.
Good lead singer.
Yeah.
Yes, apologies.
No need to apologise. Sounds good.
Hey, but wait till tomorrow's. You'll be literally singing along with him.
Hopefully I'll be redeemed.
Yeah. Indeed.
I'm relying on you, buddy.
Well, I was annoying people by singing it.
Oh, good. Catchy. It's an earworm, is it? Oh, yes. Okay. So people are going to throw fruit at me now.
You never know.
Wow.
I used to dream of having fruit thrown at me. No.
The other video that I thought was interesting during the week was Andy was putting some videos out on your what's your other channel called again, Andy? Andy's SynthAddict, Andy.
Me?
Yeah.
Depends which one were you talking about? I don't remember.
Is Astro channel? Or
I haven't done an astronomy one for a while. I've been too busy to do that. The weather's crap.
Where did I see his videos? They were literally just showing here.
The travel stuff is on the SynthAddict. Anything live stream, travel, random crap is on SynthAddict. I'm too lazy to make another channel.
Oh, okay. There it is. There. So the Big Sur one. So this is when he went to Big Sur.
Everybody, I think it's live now. Quick and dirty stream from Alila and Ventana, Big Sur, just off the coast of California. Big Sur, Highway 1. Beautiful hills here. They released a bunch of California condors here many years ago. Local person said they're up to over 500 individuals now, which is crazy because they only released about, I think, 15 or 20 of them.
That part of the world, Andy, I always find it quite intriguing how there's just this little sort of corner of California where there's just hardly any people in it. It's just all wilderness and stuff.
Well, there's I was saying that earlier, there's no cell service there at all.
Yeah.
So you have to be, that had to be in the vicinity of the building because of the Wi-Fi. And so consequently, if you need like rideshare, Uber, Lyft, or any other service, you can't do it down there because no one has working cell phones for the most part. So it's pretty funny.
Indeed.
Beautiful place though. I mean, you have like beach, redwoods, dry hills right by the redwoods. It's like these extreme changes in altitude and climate and within a small space. So
awesome. Yeah, so anyone that you guys had, like not you guys here, but you guys watching, down below in the description, all of the people that are on the show, you'll see their links to their YouTube channel. So do support them. Do go and subscribe and give thumbs up and stuff like that. Do this thing. Don't forget to thumbs up the stream.
Yeah.
I actually looked the other day. I'm looking at this right now, actually. There's 74 concurrent viewers right now, and there's only 24 likes. What am I doing wrong? Or is just
People forget,
because you people just forget to click like?
People forget.
Yeah,
I forgot. I've just clicked it. So
yeah, same here, Ian. I forgot.
Yeah.
Look at that just go up. Look at that.
Yes.
That's why you have to remember to tell, if you're YouTubers, you have to tell your audience to click like. It's annoying. It actually really shits me that I have to do that. But if you don't do it, they won't do it. It's literally that simple. It's a bit
helps
like
the algorithm, doesn't it?
Well, it helps with the algorithm, but it's a bit like, I don't know, when your kids don't do shit around the house, if you don't tell them to do it, they'll just think, oh, I got away with that, didn't I?
Yeah.
I have little funny anecdotes at home at the moment with all these. There's a whole bunch of stuff going on in this house at the moment where I've got people getting jobs and people moving from one slimming class to another and getting promoted from that, and this is craziness going on, right? And in all of that, there's this kind of child mentality that well, I'm having some wins right now, so that should entitle me to a whole bunch of stuff with the parents, right? Yes.
You bring him back down to earth, Ranzee, are you?
I just remind them how long it took them to get the win in the first place. Yeah, so it's quite interesting. Quite interesting. Yeah. Good on you, Marky, for clicking like at the start. See? Be like Marky.
Very good.
Marky's the best.
Be like Marky.
That's the easiest way to remember, I guess. Just click it right at the beginning. You know you're going to like it, so why not? Costs you nothing.
Yeah.
Might try. I nearly did it when I came on. I also noticed that there were more viewers when I jumped in than after I jumped in, so I'm blaming the end of the news on that.
Right. Or you've been hacking. You've been hacking.
No, I was just saying that.
Look at that. The button worked. Look at that, Marky. There's your little icon that you've gone all that trouble with. Sony Walkman icon.
Nice.
That's pretty cool. I like that. I actually, I'm actually sad because I had a Walkman with the, the orange
original
pattern.
one.
Yeah. The red color.
Yeah.
And I just don't know what I did with it. I definitely didn't sell it, didn't get rid of it. So I have no idea where it's gone. And I miss it in a way because it's kind of cool.
Do you have the original Sony headphones with the orange foam?
Yeah, as I said that. Yes. Yeah, the orange. Yeah.
Oh, you said the headphones. I missed that part of the headphones.
Yeah.
One of the best
Probably
ones I had.
mine
I were brought out a recordable Walkman, which was metal cased, and it was absolutely brilliant. Sound quality was really good for cassette, And I dropped
Was it the smaller one or the bigger one? Because there are two sizes.
It was slightly bigger.
The bigger one, right?
And it was. I think it was designed.
I had the smaller one that was similar. But the big one was
I think it was designed for pro because it had stereo microphone in it as well.
Mine was the real plasticky one, the red one.
Yeah.
It's really, really plastic. The ones that if you dropped, they were gone. They were gone.
The one on the magazine advert.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Scantily clad woman.
And I do believe I did have another one at one stage, which was the more fancier one, which had all the tape features, all the extra, auto reverse and fast forwarding and queuing, searching, and little LED display on it, LCD display on it. But we talk about it on the show actually quite a bit, where some of the the old music that we used to listen to in the 80s, right? Some of those really influential bands, like they were listened to by us on these Walkmans. That's what they were listened to by. And you have to think, like, how crappy were cassette quality audio?
It was
Loud and flutter and all that stuff,
It was terrible.
Yeah.
It had hiss, it was really bad.
It was.
Lots of hiss, tape hiss.
And we
it's
didn't
funny,
mind.
I bought
tape chewing up.
There was a limited edition book that came out back in November time, which I got as a belated birthday present from my kids, and it's called Audio Erotica, but it's not. There's nothing dodgy about it, but it's just full of adverts.
Get out of this hole.
It's not like the Jelly Wrestlers. It's and it's full of adverts.
Ian's like, if I keep my eyes closed, it doesn't come true.
It does, yeah. So for all of this sort of adverts for hi-fi gear and Walkmans and all of that sort of stuff from the early 70s, and how basically women were exploited in these photographs.
Oh yeah, totally.
And all of that. But they cover pretty much all of the brands that were out through the sort of 70s and 80s. And it's a coffee table book, really, But it's just to flick through it and look at these sort of things,
Well, Wagga was showing a guitar ad from Japan, I think it was, and it was extremely racy for a guitar ad.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I was surprised how racy it was.
Oh, some of the Roland ads were pretty racy at one stage. Yeah. They were kind of marketing their products at someone.
Which was the one?
It's like surfer magazines. You expect all these bikini girls and revealing outfits in surfing magazines, but not in like a trade music
was it
magazine.
the EMS Synthie that had a nun on the front?
Well, she be at the show. I'm going to the show. I'm going to NAMM. There's going to be hot chicks there.
Oh, you wish.
No, it's just nerds
at
everywhere.
The barbecue chicken place down the road. That's the only place you're going to find hot chicks. Well, geez, the NAMM show is about a week away, right?
Yeah,
is it next
Yeah,
weekend?
in fact, I'm helping. I'm going to be in Dina's booth, helping her out at the art booth on one of the days. So that'd be fun.
Oh, good. Oh,
Nice work.
that's
Getting
nice.
that gig. Well done, mate.
Yeah.
She needed some help, and I said, "Yeah, no worries. Hey, I'll be happy to be there." So
Yeah. Well, I have to admit, we would have to be rude not to mention this, but I feel like we need to say a massive big wishing you all the best for those people who actually are in Los Angeles, and especially anyone who's actually gone through some really, really nasty times with the fires. So I do my heart goes out to, there's been a lot of people that have been displaced, a lot. I mean, we're talking thousands of thousands of people. There's been some loss of lives. The point here, I guess, is that it's gotten so big that you will probably know someone who's been affected by it. That's how big it's gotten. Because we're a pretty connected world these days. So
yeah, Manny said it got pretty close to where he is, but it went the other way. So
yeah. Well, I was listening to Mel Gibson talk about how down like where he lives, because he lives, like you were saying, Andy, he lives in that area where you probably shouldn't be living because it's, you know.
I mean, this is not meant to be cold or unfeeling or whatever, but from a scientific point of view, if you put your house or a business or anything in a fire community where plants normally burn before humans ever existed on the planet, and you expect the fires not to be there, you're crazy, because it's for the health of the plant community, and it's also, if you don't do controlled burns once in a while, it gets out of hand and they can't stop it. So
anyway, my heart goes out to anyone who's been gravely affected by this, and especially if you've lost people. That would just really be very, very terrible and sad. And anyway, if you can, you know, Andy, you know, that'd be nice to sort of see if they're on your way down. Maybe you could show some of that devastation in a nice way, in a pleasant way. So.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, I always show when Yosemite has crazy fires, and you know, we even have in the Oakland Hills here many years ago. They had devastated all kinds of homes in the Oakland Hills. It's the same idea. Chaparral Oak Woodland just burns like crazy. So, it's but I'll try to shoot some of that. But also, I'm sure there'll be something at NAMM about it. Probably a booth or something like that. So I'll cover that as well.
Yeah.
So,
I wouldn't be surprised if, you know, you look at all that news gear that's on Reverb and on eBay and stuff like that. But this is what would really make me sad, is that someone's lost like some of that fantastic vintage analog or whatever gear in the fire. That would just be really, really. I mean, obviously human life, obviously the human sadder, but we're trying to keep it relative to the synth show, right? So. It would be really sad if someone's lost that gear. And I'm hearing stories that people haven't been insured. And I'm kind of like, guys, you've got to get insurance.
Yeah, I've been hearing the same thing.
Hey, I got screwed by the ripoff because my insurance was crap. So it happens. You know, people do stupid things.
Yeah.
I mean, but let's face it, insurance companies do try. I mean, yes, we're buying peace of mind with insurance, but how often does an insurance company try and wiggle out of the payment?
100%.
I mean,
didn't a few insurance companies suddenly, I don't know, it was at the beginning, but just suddenly say, "Oh, we're not insuring you for fire," all of a sudden?
Yeah,
there's some people on.
I think that might have been.
It's the same thing they do.
That might be some
conspiracy theory.
It's the same thing to do with medical insurance. That's why that CEO was targeted. The medical insurance guys are devious.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, my wife, she spilled a coffee on a laptop last year, and we put the claim in, and it's Apple, you know, those expensive laptops like an Apple MacBook Pro. I went to the Apple shop and took it in, and I wanted them to see it wet with coffee all inside it, right? So that they would give me the quote that I could send back to the insurance company. And the guy looked at me and he's like, "It still smells like coffee, and we can't fix it. This is the quote to replace it or repair it." Anyway, so I took it back to the insurance company. The insurance company said, "Well, we've got a limit on how much we can give you for that." And I'm like, "Since when did you guys have a limit on this stuff?" And they go,
I hate
"Oh,
to say it, but they
we
had
wrote
that
to
sample,
you,
right?
yeah, we
They're
wrote
telling
to
me he's
you
dreaming
5
sound.
years ago, blah blah blah." Oh my god. So anyway, I mean, I bought her a new one, and I used whatever money that they gave us to go towards it. But we were behind. Yeah, you'd think. So this is what I'm kind of saying. Like, even it's not synth related, but if I, and God forbid anything happened in here with some of this stuff, they probably try the same caper with me with this gear. So you've got to kind of be careful, guys.
Hey, Ranzee, I haven't used AppleCare for a while, but if you had full AppleCare coverage on that, would it have been protected?
I don't know, and I didn't have AppleCare.
Okay.
Because I generally
because it lapses. Yeah.
And I generally don't really believe in extended warranties.
Yeah.
I think they're.
But AppleCare is great when you needed it. Really, my history was good. But
I've only ever used AppleCare once, and I think I've bought it probably 10 times. So, based on that, I kind of felt like, well, I'll just use my insurance policy.
I bought it for stuff like laptop or iPad, where you want it's something mobile that can break easily.
I know that my son had AppleCare on his Apple laptop, and a couple of the pixels went under guarantee, and they did just replace the whole laptop.
Yeah,
he got a new laptop out of it.
When I went to get my iPad, it just went on the blink one time. Just the screen went black. Turned out it was the backlight, but you couldn't really see it. It was still running.
Yeah.
And they were going to try and sell me a repair at first, and I said I don't have the money to cover that. I said, tell you what, take this. They just gave me a refurb unit, basically for $100. Yeah. Now I lost all my data on there because they weren't able to back it up. But at least I got essentially a new.
I actually
iPad.
really like Time Machine. Yeah. Time Machine backup is actually really, really good. It's actually saved my ass a few times. Like with the wife's one, just recently, I set hers up so that she doesn't know about this crap, and I work in IT, so she's like, "Oh, can you do it?" And I always just chuck a spare hard drive on hers, and just make sure the hard drive is big enough to cover any of her external drives that she uses, and I just set it automatic every day. Anyway, so she gets the new one, and I'm like, okay, here we go. This is going to be a nightmare. So I plug it in. It says, do you have a backup to restore from? I'm like, yes, I do. And then I plug the backup in, and I press a button, and then, I don't know, 25, 30 minutes later, come back, and literally everything was exactly how it was. And I'm like, that is really cool. That was really
I wish you could
cool.
do it with iPads, but you can't. So
yeah,
iPhones you can. I believe you can with iPhones.
Not the apps though. You can't bring all your apps back.
Oh really?
I managed to do it with Android.
Only if they're in the store. If they're out of the store, you can't bring them back.
I've done the transfer from an old phone to a new iPhone. That works.
Was the stuff still in the store? Because usually the stuff has to still be in the store.
No, we bought a new phone for the wife just around Christmas time too, and you're right. So all her banking things and all that sort of stuff didn't work. She had to go and reset all that up.
Yeah.
But I think some of the apps worked though.
Most of the sort of just general apps that you get from the App Store.
Yeah.
Would just, he said, do you want to? He asks you, do you want to install them or And I just went on because it was my phone. I gave her my old phone, wiped it because she'd never had an Apple phone before, and then just transferred everything over to mine. You're right about some of the banking stuff and the data. Some of the
that was a bit of a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
But
I just got used to typing in my details for that. Important stuff.
I don't know. See, I've got a 13, and it's all paid for and everything. I don't really feel the need. Like the battery still works fine, and it still lasts me over a day. I don't really feel the need to get a new phone. I feel like it's fine.
Well, I bought a 13 when the 14 came out.
You had no choice. Why did you have no choice?
I had no choice because I was switching off 3G.
Oh yeah.
And I had a phone that was 4G but didn't have Volt.
Yeah,
because they allowed people to release phones with LTE
you were in
support
that. You were in that little.
They had
conundrum.
finished the standard.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yes.
I've got old phones sitting in drawers. That God knows 3G, 4G, whatever they are. You know, I just remember, like, because if you've been around like we have, you kind of, and you're playing with old computers, you kind of think, oh, I just wish I held on to some of the stuff. So one of the things I've been doing is trying not to be a hoarder, but at the same time, if something's kind of big enough that you've reminisced with it, you know, you will definitely miss it in the future type thing. And one of the things I was looking at is that a lot of the stuff these days are battery powered, right? And they've got the lithium batteries in them, especially phones. They probably won't work. Like I'd be very, very surprised in 25, 30 years time if those batteries still work. Like if you just kept them in a drawer, you know, or a cupboard or a box or something like that.
I've got an iPad with a dead battery. You know, it works fine if I want to plug it in, but it's, you know, it's actually sat in the drawer. Yeah, and it's still got all the apps on. So you know, and I have occasionally used it when if I can't be bothered to go and get mine out of the house, and it works with an instrument. I've used it there, but I have to plug it in because the battery's just completely dead. Yeah. It's iPad Air 1, first generation. You know,
I've got
I did that with my previous Asus.
I've got the last iPad that was with the headphone socket, and it was a Pro, so it's the big screen, 12-inch.
Oh, you got the Pro? I haven't got the Pro.
Yeah,
it is next door, but I just got the standard size one.
The only thing that's wrong with it, it's still really good iPad, and I use it quite regularly. The only thing that's wrong with it is that I don't know whether it's a problem with the iPad itself or whether it's the screen. With the iPad as in it's getting too old and too slow, or whether it's actually a physical thing, electric thing with the screen. And that is sometimes if you're typing, it locks up. You don't you're touching the screen and nothing's coming out keys wise, right? You're not getting anything showing on the screen. It's weird. So it's kind of like I'm thinking to myself, might be time to say goodbye to it, I think. Yeah, it's doing it frequently. Probably the screen. It could be the touch screen. They might have, you know, if they get slightly bent. I mean, these things were huge. They're 12-inch. You know, they're massive. If they get bent, I did have to replace the screen on it at one stage. So one of the kids trod on it and cracked the screen. And this didn't have the screen protectors. It was the actual original glass screens, and we sent it off. And they fixed it, and that was Apple Care. So that was one of the Apple Care ones I actually did.
All right.
So maybe it's because they replaced the screen and it's always been dodgy ever since. I'm not sure, but
is the iOS up to date as well?
The iOS is up to date.
Yeah.
You have to.
Yeah, that's one thing I always do.
In my case, you have to.
With the iPad and the iPhone, I automatically update the latest operating system. I don't do it on the Mac. Studio Mac. I'm always at least one behind.
Yeah, bleeding edge is not a good idea.
Yeah, and I've had that problem.
Unless you have an extra machine.
Yeah. When I bought the M1 Mac Mini, I had all sorts of things that just wouldn't work. You know, because I had no choice. That's what it came with. What it came with.
Don't worry, Chris. He'll be back, mate. I reckon he'll be back. I mean, we sent him a bit of love in this show today, and you know Scott knows us, so you know he knows he's got people around him that you know support him, so he'll be back.
Yeah, I wasn't on, but I know what you're talking about, and my first thought when I saw it was like, dude, that's not us you're talking about. That's a small group of people.
Yeah, it's a couple of idiots.
It's like when he said, you know, I didn't expect this from the synth community, and I thought, no, it's not us. That's not.
It's not.
Yeah, it's like the main thing was like, no, you're being attacked by other people who are not part of the synth community. It's a very difficult thing to manage, I think, as a YouTuber, though, is that kind of trying to separate those two different sort of worlds. It's very easy to think of it as your audience, and you're sort of sensitive to all of it equally, and it's very hard to compartmentalize different parts of your audience, I imagine. Rant?
Yeah.
It's true, yeah. It is.
It's definitely true. Yeah. I mean, I said earlier, you know, I just think people just need to sort of like chill out a little bit. Some on social media, like they just they get kind of keyboard warrior-ish, don't they? They kind of get
absolutely, yeah.
fired up in their belly.
It's funny. I don't know if I've ever told this story, but I used to write for an online blog. This was back in 2012, 2013. And I went and reviewed Bruce Springsteen when he played in Leeds. Okay. Now, he came on late. And, I mean, he was like half an hour late. And I didn't know about the sort of Bruce the boo thing. So I thought people were booing. Okay. And I just said I said in the review, I said it was a really, and it was an absolutely fantastic concert. He came out and played for 3 hours. Where I was sitting at the back, the sound wasn't that great. I'd have rather been down the front. I said all of that. And I said, that some people obviously booed right at the beginning. Well, the amount of backlash on this, about this review, it is still up there. And I read it a couple of years ago, I think. I thought, actually, it was quite a good review. You don't get the fact I'm actually saying it's a really, really good concert, And yes, I made a mistake, but my editor was so worried about the vitriol of some of the people that he suspended the comments, and he came to see me. He said, I just wanted to make sure you were all right. I went, yeah, I'm fine. Don't worry about me. I'm all right. But
well, okay, can I do it? Can I do a fun fact? That was really sweet. Just not everybody is that. Ian, I want to do a fun fact about Bruce Springsteen, because this is actually something I love about Bruce Springsteen. He recorded a whole album. I think the album was named after a state like Nebraska. Or something. He recorded the whole album on a 4-track recorder.
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, and then he had a hell of a job making it.
That's so ballsy, isn't it? Like, that is just so ballsy. That's him. Well, that's him to a T.
Yeah, because I've read a couple of books on Bruce Springsteen, and what to extend the story slightly, he recorded it, and it was just demos. He just recorded the whole thing. It was all demos, and
it was demos.
The E Street Band. And he couldn't get it he couldn't get the feel that he got off the demos.
No, he loved the demos.
Him and his manager, they had a hell of a job converting back in the day,
convincing studio execs.
The 4-track. Well, it wasn't that. It was about trying to get them from the 4-track to.
They had to get it onto the.
There's issues with timings and the speed of the cassette and all of that, and so it was a massive thing that they had to do. But it's a little bit too sort of Bob Dylan for me. Because it's a lot of guitar and
it's folky. It's very folky, very folky.
Yeah, because he's played quite a lot of those songs on some of the live albums, and those songs on Nebraska are really, really good.
But even still, when you listen to it, like I knew about this for a long time, but I'm talking about. It's 40 years old. This album. When it first came out, I never knew it was recorded on 4-track. And I reckon it would have been something that I would have been very kind of, that's cool at the time. But I don't think he went around and kind of publicised that. Maybe the record company didn't want him to, but it was then later on it was disclosed that that's what he did.
Yeah.
So interesting. But
I was going to say, don't worry about some of the diehard Bruce fans, because a lot of them don't realize "Born in the USA" is an anti-American song about being against the military guys, about treating people like crap. They use it at the Trump rally. He doesn't know it's an anti-American song. He's an idiot.
Yeah, I know.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the fans don't even know what he's talking about. So
it is.
I've always been a Bruce Springsteen fan. Not to the extent that I didn't know about the Bruce. It was the first time I'd actually seen him. It was on my
talented guy. People have redone his songs, covers of his songs that are great. So
Yeah.
Oh, one of my favorites is that "I'm on Fire" song. That is,
that's a great song.
Listen to that forever. That song.
Well, "Darkness on the Edge of Town" is my favorite album.
Yeah.
And in fact, that was the first album I bought.
Yeah.
And I still play it now. That and "The River", actually.
The River has a lot of emotional content in it. Yeah. So.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Hey, Manny. How are you, bro?
Hey.
Hope you're going okay, bud.
Yeah.
New smoke plumes are rising over the hills with winds pushing the Palisades fire this way. Oh, mate. Mate, you're gonna seriously. I'm pretty sure you've thought of this, mate, but you're gonna have to seriously work out how the hell you're gonna get all those synths into some cars and get the fuck out of there if you have to.
Forklift, maybe.
Yeah,
he's gonna get about 100 dental irrigators and just spray the whole front of his house and just keep everything soaking wet.
Man, there was that video I was watching where all the water pressure had gone, and there were people trying, and their hoses, and it was just dribbling out of the hose, and I'm like, you know,
heartbreaking.
It is. It's like people don't realize that when the shit hits the fan, it hits in a massive way, and all the things that we take for granted, all of a sudden, they're really not there anymore.
Yeah, especially in the state of America. So such a dense population.
This is why a lot of places, if you have the space, make a fire break around your property. So at least it has to jump the air gap, which can be a pretty impressive jump, but fire breaks are important.
Yeah. Well, hopefully it doesn't go down the hill and towards your joint, mate, because that would suck. I mean, I'm speaking the obvious here, but when I was a kid, you know how you guys know I did the Adelaide walk video on the channel, and all the members can watch that. But when I was a kid, I went to a primary school which was in the Adelaide Hills, and there was a really famous bushfire that probably Andy you'd even remember in the US, because it was that famous that it was actually well known even in the US, and it wiped out the entire Adelaide Hills. Like, it literally just wiped out hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of homes, and livestock and people died and all sorts of, it was just nasty. And anyway, I'm at school, and our school's on this sort of valley, and you can see the valley from the playground, and the playground is actually like a hill that goes down, and there's kind of like these tiered levels, and you know, as a kid you can sort of slide down the slide, and then you're on the next tier down. Well, anyway, this day, Ash Wednesday it was called, we looked out over the valley and it was just all glowing. And I remember looking at my mates thinking, that's pretty freaking close, isn't it, mate? That's close. I was in year 7, I think, at the time. And like, anyway, so I'm like, don't you think your parents probably should like come and pick us up? Because my house was like over towards the glow.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so literally within about 10 minutes of us having this conversation, this teacher came and rounded us all up and took us down into this like basketball court, indoor basketball court, and said, okay, kids, you probably realize there's a massive big bushfire on. We're going to get everyone to go home. Parents are going to come pick you up. Blah blah blah. This wasn't coordinating in the early 80s, right? You can imagine it. There's no internet. There's just phones, and that's it,
no
right?
Mobiles, yeah.
Apparently, I didn't know this, but I was talking to one of my mates. Apparently, about 50% of the kids just went home without not knowing their parents. No communication was because their parents would have been at work or anything. These kids just walked home. They just walked home, right? Wow. And they could have walked home straight into the flames, or they could have, like, it was just crazy. Anyway, so we got home, and I said to Mum, I said, do we have to evacuate? And she goes, yeah, we have to go. So we had to pack all of our gear, jump in the car, and drive to the rec centre, which was miles away from where the fire was. It was like in a safe area. And when we got to the rec centre, we were there for like about a day and a half. And we didn't know there was no, other than TV and radio, there's no like drones that you can, there's nothing. This is like the 80s, there's nothing. So the only way to find out if your house was still there was when they let you back into the area. The police and the fire department had to let you back in. And once they let you back in, you were like, am I going back to the house, or am I going back to scrounge for all the debris and get some personal items? And in our case, it was lucky we got back to our house. We were completely lucky. But the fire was about 50 meters away from our house, from our front door.
Wow.
It was really, really close. So we were really, really lucky. And it's insane because my mum still lives there. She's got this massive, big, huge eucalyptus tree that's about 300 odd years old. That if any embers caught on that eucalyptus tree, we would have been a goner.
Yeah.
So
We
when I
had
think
that
about
pretty
that,
devastating fire.
I think about all those people in LA right now. I'm thinking, I know exactly how they feel. It's scary as fuck. It is scary as fuck.
We had like 5 or 6 years ago a really devastating fire north of here, and I had a friend who had just relocated that area, and a lot of his neighbors' homes are just gone. Not like no rubble to look through.
Yeah.
It's so hot, they're gone.
Yeah, it melts stuff. Like, so this lady, she was on the news. She was saying, we wanted to go back, and they let us back, and I wanted to see what was left. And we had a fire safe. We had a fireproof safe. And then she said, but unfortunately, it melted the entire fireproof safe. That's how hot it got.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, wow.
Yeah, the fuel from homes is, more intense, creates more intense heat than a bushfire does by itself.
Oh yeah, because
as I understand it, it's the.
I mean, people just think about the famous title Fahrenheit 451. That's the temperature of paper burning, right?
Yeah, but
they think, the fire's not that hot. But when you have all that extra fuel and it's just like a bellows with the wind going in there, like the blacksmith, and everything gets crazy hot.
It gets to thousands of degrees. That's what it gets
easily.
to.
It just turns into a furnace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nah, it's crazy shit, man. Crazy shit. But what can you do? I was thinking about this. Like, if we had a fire here where I live, we would just be all screwed. We'd be evacuated and stuff, but like the house, the belongings, everything, you'd lose it. You would lose it.
You have those conditions like we have here in the desert. You have the flash floods also, not just fires, but you get flash floods out.
Oh yeah, we're getting more and more flash floods. I mean,
yeah.
We've had some, obviously, just after Christmas. There was some sort of, it went streaming through a village, and they had a month's rain in about an hour. And these things, they're happening more and more, and we know it's global warming, no matter what Donald Trump and some of the
they don't really get.
They don't have any.
We don't really get.
They don't have a science background. They don't know anything. So.
No,
I don't think we really get floods in Perth. We've had floods-ish, nothing like what they've had in like Brisbane or. I don't think Perth's ever really had that, but we do get fires here all the time.
Yeah, we've had floods here in Frome. Where we are, we're high up, so we're on the edge of the town, so it's a walk down into town. So and we're not near the actual river. The river flooded back in March, I think, just before we moved here, and there was several roads you couldn't get through. You couldn't get to the, I think was it Tesco's? No, it was Asda supermarket, because it was just all flooded around there. The closest we ever got was when we lived in Pocklington, and Pocklington's built on a beck. The whole town's built on a beck. And that became so there was so much flooding that it ran down the beck.
Like
a beck is like a small. It's a stream, but it's a significant stream in the sense that So it runs right the way through town. It's probably about as wide as this studio is the beck. And it's always got constant water running through it, and it overflowed some. And then back in the 50s, the whole town was completely flooded, apparently. But it was straight after Christmas. I remember this, and I was for some reason I popped back to the shop when we had the shop, and I turned up at the shop, and I'm going through the back of the shop, and I look out the front of the shop, and the main street where the shop is a river. And obviously the environmental agency had rung the shop. Nobody's there over Christmas. So I rang Jane and the boys and said, look, you're going to have to come, and we're going to have to move all the gear from downstairs upstairs. So we basically spent half the day clearing the front of the shop. So all these music books and synths and
you take a canoe to work, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it didn't.
Well, they've been canoeing up in Manchester for the past.
Yeah, he didn't get in, but I
got to tell you guys
got damp at the
story.
front door.
So years ago,
they're building on floodplains. That's the problem.
Years ago,
yeah,
right?
They are,
I was I was in the military. You guys probably know this, right? So years ago, and I shared this house that was some sort of distance away from where I was working on the base, right? And it's just three guys that we're all sort of, you know, single and stupid and doing stuff. Anyway, so this place that we rented was like in like a rural sort of area. It was kind of like semi hobby farm type area where most of the properties had like 5, 10, 20 acres. They were substantial sort of properties. Anyway, we managed to rent this 5-acre property. It was a huge little sort of house in the middle, and it was just covered in like fields and stuff like that, and there were 4 rivers that went around this property. And I never ever thought anything about it, right? Anyway, one day it friggin' rained, and then the next day it kept raining, and then about 3 weeks later, you know, it was insane amount of rain, right? And then so all the mountains and everything, these rivers just swelled and swelled and swelled and swelled and swelled. And then one day I'm about to get out to go to work, and I jump in my car. I drive about 100 meters down the road, and it's literally flooded, like as far as the eye could see. And there's no way, it's like deep as anything. There's no way. And because we were sort of up on this hill, it's called Brandy Hill. Anyway, we drove back home. The phone was working, so I rang up the boss at work, and this guy I had, he was like this real cranky old bastard, right? This guy that I had as a boss. And I'm ringing him up, and he's going, "Where the fuck are you?" And I'm like, "I can't come to work." He goes, "Why the fuck not? You're late." No, he's really going off his nut at me, and I'm going, "Because I haven't got a fucking boat, mate." And he's like, "What?" It's like, it was the funniest thing we ever came up with. And like the story just kept like, we got, obviously, you know, we could stay home until it subsided. It took about 3 days for the water to subside. We got to work eventually, and the guy goes, "Oh, I'm sure that was fine," you know. He was like backpedaling, and around the corner from where we lived, one of the really high up ranking officers lived there as well, and so they already knew that he was also flooded in as well. So he worked at the same place as me, so it was all cool. But it was this guy, the way he was carrying on. "Oh, you're fucking bullshitting me. What do you mean you can't?" It was just hilarious, this whole thing. But yeah, floods, mate. Yeah. Hell. You know, crazy shit.
It's a bit better excuse than the dog ate my homework, I'll say that much.
Well, tell us about that one.
No. You got me there.
So suppose they say the Cybertruck can float if it floods, but if it can't even get wet without car wash mode, without braking, how is it going to float and be still usable?
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. It'll float. It'll probably
car
float,
wash mode.
It'll never work again. Yeah,
yes, so the electrics will go out. And
it washes the inside.
Battery issue.
And you're trapped in there because it won't open, right? So it's a death trap.
Yeah, deploying snorkel. Oh wait, we don't have a snorkel.
You know, Elon, he'd be the sort of guy, if you went up to him and said, "Hey, what about a hovercraft that turns into a car? You know, like the James Bond stuff. You know, you should make that." He'd be like, "Yeah, let's do that." He'd be the sort of guy that would
he's a big kid. He has these
yes.
dumb ideas like a big kid has. So you know,
I'm actually surprised that the Cybertruck actually potentially does float. I mean, with all the lithium batteries, and that thing would weigh an absolute friggin' mammoth amount of weight.
There must be some air spaces that are sealed or something in it. I'm guessing. I don't know.
Yeah. How many tons does that thing weigh? Someone would know.
It's really heavy. I mean, just a regular Tesla car is heavy with all the batteries.
Cybertruck weight. There we go.
Yeah.
6,669 pounds according to Google.
Jesus.
Yeah. That's heavy.
That's heavy.
That's heavy.
Imagine that thing hits you. Imagine a car accident with a Cybertruck.
It's 3,000 kilos for those playing along at home, mate. That's a massive amount of weight. Yeah.
It's like all cars though, underwater. It's fine until you open the window.
Well, those really cool like Forerunners and stuff with the snorkel. Those are or like a Land Rover that has a snorkel. That's pretty cool. You actually
with the exhaust goes up.
Yeah, I had one of those.
Yeah,
I had a Land Cruiser. Yeah, I had a Land Cruiser with a snorkel. It's awesome.
It's great.
Yep. The whole thing about going through river crossings, right, was there was a trick to it. You got to create this bow wave, and so you had to get the speed right. So you'd hit the river, and you'd have to get the speed right, and then the water would sort of lip up onto the bonnet, but it would sort of disperse out around the sides. I mean, the snorkel is like right up above the height of the roof, right? It's really high up. So I never ever went in above anything above the bonnet, because I mean, this thing's really. Land Cruisers are really high up as it is. Like they, you know, when the water's above the bonnet, mate, it's pretty deep water.
There was a,
and it's just better to be doing it in a diesel.
Oh, I think it was just before Christmas. It was probably just before Christmas. But there was one of the villages got flooded. I think it was might have been in Wales, but don't quote me. And some dickhead on a tractor went along the high street and created a bow wave and then smashed all the windows.
Oh,
you know.
I mean, it's not my fault.
One of the women in the shop said the shop was fine until, you know, yes, there was a bit of water coming in, but there was nothing happening until this Pratt went along and they showed footage of him going along and creating the bow wave and then it breaking the windows and doors and stuff. Incredible.
Wow.
I think he might have been prosecuted because there was something after it, you know.
Well, you can't do burnouts in a flood, so you probably, you know.
No. Yeah.
You reckon they got him for
we'll do bow waves?
Yeah.
Losing traction with your wheels.
Yes. Operating a boat not in a registered river.
Yeah.
That reminds me, we took a canoe out once on a really nice I think it was Jenny Lake. We're in Yellowstone at Jenny Lake. Beautiful area over there, real peaceful. We're in a canoe, and some assholes go by in a powerboat and make a huge wake, right? And so we're trying to turn into the wake. My dad's yelling at him.
Yeah.
Trying not to capsize the canoe. It was very funny.
I used to go skiing, right? And you'd get some guy like trying to knock you off your skis with the wake, you know, because you can go out. Like there's like a delta, right? And there's two wakes. There's kind of one on the left, one on the right, and you take the rope out and you go a little bit over, and the cool thing about it as you're skiing is you want to do the little jumps over over the wake. And I used to always come a gutser on those. I don't know why. I was
the landing that hurts.
Oh hell yeah! You'd always it's like spinning on your back and your legs everywhere, and
I used to water ski as well, Rant.
Yeah.
Used to barefoot. Did you get to barefoot?
No, what's that?
Barefoot water skiing. Well, no skis.
Oh,
just
barefoot.
Feet.
Oh, barefoot.
Yeah,
sorry.
Yeah, that's bonkers, that stuff. Yeah.
No, I haven't done that, bud. I haven't done that, mate.
I tell you what, when you come a cropper, you get the cartoon where something's like somebody's got the stars spinning around the head.
Yeah.
Like that.
Oh, you hit hard, don't you?
Yeah, you do. Yeah. Water's hard at that speed.
You weren't doing that on Sail Water Park, were you, Andy?
No. River D, with the dead cows and trees and stuff like
that. Dodge them with the bare feet. Holy crap! You're mad. Yeah. Now, where did I do the skiing? It was up in on the east coast of Australia, a place called Lake Macquarie. You guys probably haven't.
You can never find a lake with a slope on it, though, can you?
Well, you can't use the poles, mate. Oh, that's the wrong set of skis. Yeah. Hey, we should probably finish up, boys and girls. I think we went right off on a tangent today.
Wait, we didn't talk about crumpets yet.
Yeah. Oh,
crumpets. Crumpets and pikelets.
Crumpets and muffins. Crumpets and muffins, I think it was, that show.
Yeah, no, muffins. No, muffins. Don't bring muffins into it.
We're not going to go there.
Is it a crumpet or is it a pikelet?
We're not going to go there. Stop it. Yeah. You just wanted me to do a 9-hour stream. It's not going to happen.
Do it.
Only Kent is able to do that. It's, that's his thing.
Yeah, that's his stick.
Yeah,
absolutely.
All right, guys. Well, we'll finish up, I think, and let everyone go and do things on their own private lives for a little bit. Yes.
Tea time.
Enjoy, everyone. Thank you very much, Andy, for joining us on Zoom. Nice to see you again.
Good.
And thanks, Chris, for coming in a little bit later. It was appreciated.
You're welcome. You're most welcome.
Hope your sister had a nice birthday.
Yeah, she did.
Andy. And Daren and Ian, thanks very much. And also thanks to the Chatties for being part of the show. How many we got left that sort of hung around and listened to us crap on? Jeez, I'm actually surprised. That's pretty good.
Quite a few, yeah.
Yeah. All right, guys. All the best, and see you next week.
Yeah.
Yep.
Catch you
Tomorrow,
later.
I'll start singing with Chris.
Yep.
Yeah.
We will do.
Take care.
Cheers,
Bye.
Pete.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.